about some shoujo. Get your ibuprofen, your boxing gloves, and your Kleenex on standby. Welcome to episode 5 of Shojo Chronicles. What's up? My name is Killa B, but you can call me B for short. As always, follow all my social media platforms. You know I got everything. I got Blue Sky, Twitter, Patreon. I'm on Red Note. I'm very lazy on there. But we're going to get it. We're going to get through it. Okay, guys? Okay, cool. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe my video, okay? Every like means that you support all shoujo content, okay? And every comment means I get a boost in the algorithm. So if y'all like, comment, subscribe, I would love for y'all to do that. Today we are discussing My Happy Marriage. It is like our, I think like second or third suggested one. And y'all, let me tell y'all the stages of grief I went through watching this show. This show is still going on. We're only going to be talking about season 1. Season 2 is ongoing right now on Netflix if y'all want to watch that. But y'all, let me tell y'all, it's a lot. So before we get started with our video, of course, I'm going to get ahead of time with our trigger warnings. Trigger warnings for physical abuse, verbal abuse, emotional abuse. I'm going to make sure I put the time markers right here and also in the description so my viewers can be wary. Now, let's get started into My Happy Marriage. We open up the show with our main character, Mio, crying under a cherry blossom tree. She talks about how she never felt like she could reach happiness. She felt like she was doomed to be miserable until he came. Mio is a Saimori. The Saimoris are dignitaries with supernatural abilities. Mio is the child of Shinichi and Sumi. Sumi Saimori, my bad y'all. Her mother was the first wife who passed away, sadly. The Saimoris don't treat Mio like one of them because she was from a previous marriage, so Mio is a servant to them. One day, a man named Mr. Tatsuishi comes to the Saimoris and offers a contender for Mio and her half-sister, Kaya. Mio may not get a contender because technically she's not a Saimori. I mean, she is, but they don't really acknowledge her per se. We cut to Koji, one of the contenders, talking to Mio. Koji and Mio had a long-standing relationship, and Koji is really excited to be able to marry Mio, but he's gonna see how it goes in the meeting. Koji comes talk to Mio specifically so they can chat up by the lake. They're chatting up and they're eating sweets. Koji tells Mio that he's going to save her from this place, and Koji wants Mio to have a smile on her face every day once he gets her out of here. We cut to the Saimoris eating dinner, and Kaya is asking for new kimono. Kaya's the favorite child, so she can get whatever she wants, but Mio's in the room and she doesn't really want to hear all that. She's trying to get done with her servant's duties and go. Mio's in the room. She's trying to like leave the room quickly. Her father stops her and acts like, hey, are you free at noon? And she's like, yeah, what's up? And he's like, I need you to get dressed around noon, around that time. And Mio is so pissed from that. She's like, why the hell did you ask me like it was a choice? I am a servant. I am always free when you ask me when I want to be free, except from the freedom of servitude. We cut to Mio and the servants, and Kaya comes in to make fun of Mio for being a servant. I think that's a pretty shallow roast. I mean, I feel like you can do better than that. Ha ha, you're a servant. Wow, that was weak. Okay. Do better. So we then cut to Koji visiting Mio. He's there to discuss marriage arrangements with Mio's father. Mio is then summoned by her father in a meeting. Mio pulls up, and unfortunately she will not be able to marry Koji. Koji will be marrying Kaya, and by the way, she has to get all her stuff gathered within the afternoon, and they tell her to never come back. They don't give her a break. They're just like, you don't have a man no more. You don't have a home no more. And we don't want to deal with your ass no more. Mio knew she was mean, knew they were mean, but she didn't know what that mean. Kaya and her mama over here snickering and kikiing. I'm just like, what y'all snickering and kikiing over? Okay, do y'all just relish in everybody's anguish? Oh my God, can you give the girl a break? She just found out her man is going to be married to her sister. She got kicked out the house, and not only does she know her family hates her, but despises her. She's like, dear God, I just want to break. Boom, 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 boom. You don't get no breaks. Mio's whole world is crumbling. Of course she can't marry her man. And Kaya don't even want Koji for real. She only wants Koji just to piss off Mio. It reminds me of something, but I don't know what yet. So Mio is told that she's going to be sent to Kyoka Kudo, and he is renowned as being very abusive to his fiancés. So her family just like, known for being abusive and mean and cold to the fiancés. Yeah, we're going to send her over there. And Kaya is still snickering. Like, girl, what is your beef with Mio? Okay? What is your beef? You know what? We're going to get to that rant later on in the series. We're going to have to get through this first episode, y'all. We're going to get through it. So her dad was like, yeah, pack your stuff up immediately. You can't stay here no more. And his wife is just happy as a clam. I'm like, God, Mio's finally gone. Girl, shut up. That's why your man don't want you. Lord, did your daughter absorb your stank ass attitude in the womb? I just like to know. Cause you just can't be a born hater with that. I feel like your mom got a hate for 9 months and you come out just like, I hate this. So we cut to Mio and Koji in the rain. There's a flashback of Koji getting the news that like he can't marry Mio, and his dad struck a deal with Shinichi so she can be married off to the Kudo house. Koji and Mio were never ideal because Mio does not have any powers, so they didn't really see Mio as a good suitor if they were going to provide any superpower babies. So Koji's dad like sick of the back and forth. He's like, I'm not going to go back and forth with you. You're going to marry Kaya. It's not a choice. It's a direct order for me. So we cut to Mio visiting her mother's old cherry blossom tree. It's a stump now since Kaneko got it cut down because she didn't really like Mio mama worth a damn. This will be the last time Mio will be able to see her mother's cherry blossom tree. It's raining and Koji apologizes for not being able to marry her. Mio's like, hey man, it is what it is. And Koji feels guilty for not being able to take her away from this place. He wants to tell her all the things they plan to in the future, how they were going to like get out of this place and finally leave. But all that gets interrupted because Kaya wants to see Koji inside. She doesn't want to see Koji inside. She just wants to interrupt the moment. That's all Kaya want to do. She just want to interrupt something. Mio told Koji like, hey, thanks for helping. I really do appreciate it. But it is what it is. I got to do what I got to do and I got to head out, bro. The servants gift Mio a new kimono from her father and a snack. The servants gave her a snack specifically. The servants warned her ahead of time about Kyoka Kudo, how he can be such a cruel and cold man. While Mio is packing, the servants is like, hey, that's all she's gonna pack. Because all she has is like her one kimono and that's it. That's like you just like went to a long trip and just like, this is all I got. All you have is shirt, pants, and underwear and socks. Yep, that's all I own. It's the one pair. So most of Mio's stuff was destroyed by Kaneko because, again, Kaneko does not like Mio's mom worth a damn. So she has either burned or destroyed 98% of her mother's items. So Mio heads out. She gets on a train, and then she has a flashback from her mother's funeral and the cherry blossom tree and Kaya's mom having a beef with a 5-year-old? Why are you having beef with a 5-year-old, man, okay? What you gonna say to the kid? They ain't even process anything in life. They just learn how to talk. And you having beef with a 5-year-old? I don't like your mama. So I'm gonna put you in this shed for days because I hate your mama. Who are you? We then see Kaneko get pregnant with Kaya and she feel like she has the upper hand to Mio. Again, why are you beefing with a kid? Like, she's like, I have your father now. He's not going to pay attention to you. Who are you? Who are you, ma'am? Okay. I'm going to get to you. But later. Not right now, but later. We learned that like in childhood, Kaya and Mio never were allowed to hang out with kids as kids because like Kaneko put in Kaya's head like you're above Mio. So you should not be hanging out with the servants. You are like upper echelon. So don't talk to Mio and don't even hang with her. Don't even treat her like a person, actually. Kaneko, we see that she did cut down Mio's mom cherry blossom tree because she didn't want Mio to be reminded of her mom in any sense. Mio meets Kudo for the first time and bows for like the longest time. Kudo is like, girl, get up. Why are you bowing down there forever? She apologizes and he's like, I didn't ask for you to say sorry either. Mio gets up and see Kudo and she like, oh my God, he hot. Oh no, he's hot. Oh no, he's hot. So we wrapped up the first episode. Yes. Okay. So now we're gonna go to our next episode. Cool. So we are back with Kyoka being hot, and he starts to lay down the ground rules. He tells Mio that like, hey, you will obey me at any time. But I tell you to die for me today, you gonna die for me. And Mio's just like, okay. And Kudo's just like, okay, don't agree so fast. Like, don't do that. Mio is presented with her room, and Yuri tells Mio that Kudo's not that mean. And Mio's just like, Mio calls BS because he was mean as soon as he pulled up. Mio thinks the only reason that Kudo wants to marry her because he thinks that like she has a gift, and she like, okay, this gonna end real soon anyways, because once he find out I'm giftless, he ain't gonna mess with me no more. All Saimoris are born with supernatural abilities. Mio and Kaya were tested pretty young, and Kaya was the only one who passed the test, and Mio didn't pass it. So after Mio didn't pass the test of her having her powers, her dad was just like, I don't have to like be fake nice to you, because the only reason I was being even remotely nice to you because I didn't know if you had powers or not. But now I know you don't got powers. I don't gotta really treat you like anything. They saw Mio as a lost child that they hold no responsibility over. We cut to present day, and Mio wants to find a way to be useful in the Kudo house. So Mio starts to cook. Yuri was over here like, girl, why you cook for us? Like, I work for you. And Mio just like, I just want to make myself useful in the house and everything. Yuri just like, I appreciate the help, but you could chill out if you want to. We cut to Kudo eating breakfast. Mio and Yuri are also in the room. Kudo tells Mio to sit right next to him, and once she sat right next to him, he was like, I need you to eat my food. And Mio's just like, And Kudo's just like, it's poison, ain't it? And Mio's just like, it's just like, you ain't gotta say nothing. I'm not gonna be poisoned in my own house, okay? You ain't gonna try to kill me. It's your first 24 hours. Who you think you are? And Mio's just like, So Mio is like too shy to say anything, so she doesn't like really defend herself and be like, no, I didn't poison your food, I was just trying to be nice with you. But because Mio came from a family of like verbal and emotional abuse, when somebody yelled at her, she's just like, I'ma just shut up, and you can think whoever you want to think. I know what I did, but it is what it is. So we cut to Kudo's job at the anti-grotesquerie unit. It's a team of people who have supernatural abilities who like cast away like evil demons and spirits and ghosts. We learned that there hasn't been like a ghost or a demon attack for a while. So like the anti-grotesquerie unit is getting like kind of lazy, and Kudo just like, y'all ain't gonna be lazy today. And then he like threw an ice beam at a target. He just like, you see that? That's gonna kill a demon one day. He was telling these folks to like tighten up because like, look at me. The avatar is present right in front of you. I just don't know if he can earthbend though. I do know the extent of Kudo's powers is like fire bending, lightning bending, air bending, and ice bending. I don't know if that would just count as water bending, but I've never seen him just like get a stream of water and I don't know. and pull up on somebody like that. No, he never did all that. That's all the thing he can do. We cut to Kudo with his aide Gudo. I heard what I just said. I'm just gonna try to say his first name for the sake of like me not having a tongue twister. They're just chatting it up. Kyoka has a flashback from this morning. He was talking to Yuri, and she was telling him like, hey, I think you need to chill out on Mio. And he's like, well, I gotta chill out on her. And she was like, Mio didn't do nothing wrong with you. All she wanted to do was make you a nice breakfast, and you was like really mean to her for no reason. And Kyoka just like, I'll think about it. I'll consider it. And then he just like, maybe I was tripping. Maybe. I don't know. Find out next time on Dragon Ball Z. We go back to the Kudo house, and Mio feels like really bad about this morning. She feels like, okay, I messed up my first impression. He's gonna think very negatively. He thinks I'm gonna try to assassinate him. Like, I don't know what's going on, but like, I feel terrible. So we cut back to the Saimori house, and Koji and Kaya are getting settled into their new marriage. Koji is helping like Kaya with all her things. The Kaya's just like, oh my God, you are so nice. You're even helping out the servants that are not Mio. That woman is living rent free in your mind. For a woman that you said that you hate so badly, you sure are talking about her a lot. Koji puts Kaya's bag in Mia's room, and he vows like when he's in the room that he will get Mio back and protect her at all costs. We are back at the Kudo house and Kyoko returns home. Mio apologized for this morning. She's like, hey, you know, I was a bit too eager to make you breakfast. I can see how that would make you think I will have like very bad intention towards you and everything. Like, I apologize. And Kudo just like, shawty chill. You didn't do nothing wrong. I was doing too much. I don't really trust people making new food for me, but because I was tripping and I was wrong, I would like for you to make food for me later. And Mio is very ecstatic. She's like, oh my God, thank you so much. You know, I'm not going to mess it up this time. And Kudo just like, if you poison me, I'm going to end you. And Mio's just like, no, I would never poison you. That's just rude. And Kudo like, I bet. I'll see you later for dinner. So we cut to Kudo eating the food that Mio gave him. Food is cold and Mio apologizes and Kudo just like, stop apologizing, okay? It cheapens it. You don't gotta say sorry to me every time that you feel like you did something wrong. You're cool, chill out. He then asks why Mio isn't eating with him. She says she wasn't hungry. And Kudo is like, I haven't seen you eat in days. Mio's like, it's cool, it's okay. You don't gotta worry about my hunger or whatever. Let me run you a bath. And Kudo just like, girl, you don't gotta run me a bath. I have the power of fire, okay? I can run my own bath whenever I want to. You don't gotta like worry yourself with chores that don't concern you. Just do what you want to do, but like don't overstress yourself, you know? After like Kudo and Mio talks, Kudo leaves the room and everything, and Mio starts having like this negative self-talk about herself since she does not have any powers. Cause like Kudo just like, oh yeah, I can just run a bath with fire powers. And Mio just like, well, I don't even have fire powers. I don't know how I can be helpful around the house. I'm useless. I'm nothing. She felt like without her powers, she couldn't really provide any assistance to Kudo whatsoever. We cut to Mio cleaning and Kyoko asks if they can talk. He apologized for refusing the food, and also Yuri will be a little late, so he trusts her to make the food for tomorrow. Kyoko tells her to enjoy the bath while it's still hot and, you know, just relax yourself. So we get a flashback of Mio's mom's stuff getting taken away from her when she was out of her room. Mio runs to Kaneko to see like where her stuff is at, but the servant warns her ahead of time like, hey, don't just pull up to Kaneko like that because there's going to be some consequences. And little Mio is just like, it's okay. Father is going to protect me. Her father does not protect her whatsoever. The servant's right because Mio got her ass whooped. And Kaneko is just like, how dare you accuse me of stealing things like that? Like, who do you think I am? Then she proceeds to break the last thing that Mio has of her mother. You can't be just like, oh, how dare you accuse me of stealing something? She's like, oh, I forgot something. You forgot something? Ma'am, you are an evil person. Why are you relishing in this 6-year-old's torture? Goodness gracious. So after like Mio accused Kaneko of like stealing her things, she got locked into this shed for days to get punished. And oh my God, can my girl mourn her mama in private? She's being punished for mourning? My God. The servant tries to get her out, but there's no dice. That servant ends up getting fired for trying to protect Mio. We cut back to present day, and Mio, you know, she's in thought, and she's like wondering like where that servant was that did protect her all those years ago. Mio still has her mother's comb from that incident, but it's just a little broken. Mio is now getting breakfast ready for Kudo. Yuri comes in earlier than expected, and she tells like, hey, you know, Mio, you can chill out, you can relax. Mio explains the situation, and Yuri just like, bet, I got you. And Yuri helps Mio out with the food so she can serve for Mr. Kudo during breakfast. Yuri is glad that she can help Mio with anything because, you know, she's rooting for Mio and Kyoko. She wants someone to like thrive in their marriage. Mio and Mr. Kudo are now eating breakfast. Mio is like waiting anxiously to see like, oh, what does he think of the food? I hope he thinks it's good. Mr. Kudo just like, this just slaps. And Mio is so excited and glad that he likes her food to a point of like being in tears. And Mr. Kudo is just like, why are you crying about breakfast? It's like, I said it was good. I didn't say it was like astronomical, goodness gracious. And she apologizes like for crying and everything. And Mr. Kudo is just like, girl, calm down. There's no need for that constant apology stuff here. You're fine. Mr. Kudo then compliments her, and she's surprised somebody actually gave her praise. Mr. Kudo then starts to wonder why Mio is so skittish in the first place, because like every time he compliments her, like try to say something to her, she's like, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to. And like he's just like, okay girl, we don't gotta do all that. But Kudo starts to like look at Mio more. She looks underfed, like she had like no one gave her anything. And Mr. Kudo asks Yuri like, hey, if I asked her what was going on with her, do you think she would tell something to me? And Yuri had to like answer honestly, and she was like, I don't know, because like she has to like open up slowly. And Mr. Kudo just like find out what's going on with her, and we'll get to the bottom of this. Yuri just like, oh wow, I didn't think he was gonna like put like so much time and effort into Mio. I really like that. We learned that before Mio, Mr. Kudo's fiance was worried about like money and power. Mio is different because, she was taught to like just listen and obey. So she never really tried him. And Mr. Kudo found that odd. He just like, okay, she doesn't want my money and she doesn't want my status and she just listen to everything I'm saying and she always be flinching. What the hell is going on? All Mio knew from Mr. Kudo was that like he's a mean man. He's a mean and cruel man, and I gotta brace for impact to the brunt of it. So Mio didn't really have an attitude because she never really was in a place where she could have an attitude. Yuri thinks that Mio and Mr. Kudo are a great match. Mr. Kudo leaves out the room so he can investigate like what's going on with Mio and like why did she act like this. We cut to Shinichi and Minoru talking about Mio. Shinichi is Mio's father and Minoru is Koji's father. I'm so sorry if I'm butchering the name. Apparently, Mio was supposed to marry Koji because her mother, Sumi, has powers. So Toji's dad was really pissed when the engagement didn't go to him and Mio, and it went to him and Kaya. He's like over here yelling at Shinichi. She's like, we could have had powerful grandkids and you over here just stopping my blessings. It's the next day. Mr. Kudo and Mio are eating dinner. Mr. Kudo asks Mio if she enjoys spending her time here. And he then asks her like, hey, when you're not doing chores, like what do you do during your day? And Mio just like, I sew. And like, I read the magazines that Yuri got me. And Mr. Kudo tells Mio, he's like, hey, I got a day off tomorrow. Like, I was trying to see if you want to pull up in town. And Mio was just like, oh, but you have no business to take care of. And Mr. Kudo was just like, why I gotta have business to go out in town with you? I just want to go out in town. It's not a problem. Mio's just like, I don't want to be a burden. I don't want to be like a nuisance. And Mr. Kudo is just like, you're not being a burden or nuisance. I'm inviting you to go out of town because I want to take you to go out in town. There's no ifs, ands, and buts about it. There's no catch. I just want to take you out in town because you haven't been. So Mio has processed like, okay, he's taking me on a date and we're going to be seeing Mio and Mr. Kudo's official first date. Mr. Kudo tells Mio like ahead of time, like, hey, when we go on our date, can you wear the kimono that you like wore the first day out here? Mio feels like the kimono feels out of place on her, and Yuri comes in and asks if like Mio needs help with her makeup, and Mio just like, I've never really done makeup before. And Yuri just like, girl, bet, I got you. So Yuri, she do her magic, do her thing. Mio pull up, she see her man, and her man is starstruck. She's like, that's my woman? And that kimono, and with that good makeup, with that beat face? Shoot. So he's very starstruck and very excited to see Mio, and they head out in town. Before they head out to their date, Mr. Kudo has to park the car ahead of time because he don't feel like dealing with parking fees, and he's gonna park the car at the anti-grotesquerie unit. Once Mr. Kudo parks the car at the anti-grotesquerie unit, his aide Gudo notices that like Mr. Kudo is there on his day off, and he's just like, why are you here? And he's like, oh, who is this? And Gudo's over here pressing Mio, just like, what's up? What's your name, girl? What's going on? You over here with him, girl? He over here mean and cruel. Why you over here doing that? And he over here like, back up, bro. He's like, I'm sorry, man. I was just asking a question. He like, bro, back up. He likes his girl. He is so jealous. The Kudos head out for their date, and Mr. Kudo asks Mio, just like, hey, what do you want? And Mio just like, nobody ever asked me what I want. I don't know what I want. Mr. Kudo, he was just like, okay, bet if you can't figure out what you want, then we can do some of my shopping errands that I need to do and you can come with me. And Mio was just like, okay, bet I would love to do that. Quality time is just my favorite love language, and I just love how you pay attention to it as woman. So they are chilling, and Kudo asks if Mio's having a good time. Then Mio apologizes for having fun, and Kyoka is just like, this girl is traumatized. Like, I'm like, girl, you don't have to say sorry for me for having a nice time. You can chill out, I promise you. Mr. Kudo is just like, girl, if you don't just enjoy yourself, okay, I'm not gonna scold you for like basic stuff. That's like really dumb and abusive. Like, that's not me, that's not my character. So we cut back to Shinichi and Toji's dad arguing about Mio. Koji's dad feels worried because Koji was supposed to marry Mio and not Kaya. Mio's mom was a Usuba, but she didn't inherit the gift. Koji's dad like, you idiot. We could have had whatever the Usuba powers were. And then Shinichi's just like, okay, Mio doesn't really have any powers like that. He's like, that's not the point, okay? Sometimes things skip generations. You're not really thinking about the bigger the picture, okay? You gotta think big. You ain't really thinking big like that. So Shinichi just like, look, I kicked her out the house so she can be with the Kudos because I couldn't care less about Mio whatsoever. She was a daughter from a previous marriage that I couldn't care less for. She didn't give me no powers or anything, so you can do whatever she wants. I put her at the Kudos so you can get to her easily because once Mr. Kudo find out that she ain't got no powers, she gonna be homeless. So whatever you want to do after that, you know, it is what it is. And Koji's dad just like, oh, so like if I just pick her up in the street after she get kicked out, you don't care. And Shinichi's like, I do not care, okay? I've been stopped caring about that girl since she turned 5. So when a kidnapper marry her, I don't care. As long as you don't concern me. And Toji's dad like, okay, bet. And it better not concern you. So whatever I do, you better not butt in. So Kaya is eavesdropping in this conversation right now. So Kaya think Mio is about to like wrong her in some type of way. Even though she don't even like Koji like that. The only reason she wanted to marry Koji was to make sure that Mio was miserable. And she succeeded in that. And I was like, you don't even like this man. All you want to do is take from Mio so you can feel better. You mention your sister all the time like you're obsessed with her.
You're not gonna steal my man away from me without a fight.
And then you always come at her when she's down.
Recently, he'd been paying more attention to you than normal. You told Kairi the other day that you'd been in love with Toji since junior high. Well, sorry to break the news to you, but Toji and I were making out at the time.
Guys, I'm piecing this stuff together. Kaya is Sai's ancestor, okay? That gotta be her great grandmama, okay? That's a level of hate that just goes on within the lineage. All of it is coming around full circle. Even when I'm making another video, I cannot escape Peach Girl. Anyways, so Koji tries to calm Kaya down. He's like, okay, you gotta chill out. And she then asks Koji why they're talking about Mio in the first place. And Koji is just like really dense. He's very much in the dark, so he don't know. And Kai's just like, I know you know something. And Koji's just like, do you want to go shopping? She's like, I'm gonna go shopping, but I'm gonna get to the bottom of this because they ain't talking about Mio for no reason. And she calms herself down by realizing that Mio is probably getting abused right now, which is sick. She's like, you know what? Maybe I shouldn't be angry. Her ass is getting beat right now. Who are you? Oh my God. So we cut back to the Kudos at a fabric store to a fabric store. And this is the first fiance Mr. Kudo has brought to like the establishment his family always go to. And the shop owner's like, oh my God, a girl? I don't know, you bring them over here. I thought you was a recluse. So we cut to the flashback of this morning and Yuri was telling Mr. Kudo how she was always resewing her clothes. And she did it in private so nobody could see. Kyoka found it odd because why does she have the clothes of a servant, but she's a Saimori? You know, 2 + 2 don't equal 5, you know. Mio also only has like one good kimono. So you're just like, that's odd. Why does she only have the one good kimono? So he picks out this like cherry blossom pattern that fits Mio. And he also gets help from the owner so he can get colors that complement her skin well. Mr. Kudo liked the cherry blossom cherry blossom pattern because he feels like it really fits Mio and it really just like accentuates her beauty. The cherry blossom fabric will take longer, but you know, he think that he's worth it for his girl. The shop owner made sure she gave him a little gift, and he's like, hey, she's like, hey, before you go, you know, don't lose a good woman. She's good for you, and I know she's gonna love you all her life. So we cut to the Kudos at this little sweet shop, and Kyoka. I'm sorry, guys. I'm thinking about Kudo and Kyoka at the same time. Kyoka is asking if the food is good and if she's all good. She says like, oh, I'm all good. And Kudo asked her like, why don't you smile? She apologizes for not smiling, and Mr. Kudo just like, you know, chill out. Okay, I was just asking you a question. I didn't say smile immediately. I was just asking like, why don't you smile as much? Mio think that she messed up somehow because Mr. Kudo is now in thought, and girl, same. Cause what are you thinking about? Why are you over here sitting and pondering? What's on your mind? Now I'm over here thinking whatever. I'm thinking that you hate me. You want me out the house? What's going on? Mr. Kudo, he reassures. He's like, I'm just a thought. Don't worry, chill out. And since Mr. Kudo got like all the stamps of approval from like all the older women in his life, he wants to pursue marriage with Mio now. He wants her to be more honest so they can communicate better, and he wants to have a smooth and regular conversation without her like apologizing like every 5 seconds, you know? Mio knows the intention of Mr. Kudo. She is worried that like she's gonna like get thrown out to the side of the road after he finds out that she is giftless. She wants to be more honest with Mr. Kudo, but she doesn't really want to mess up a good thing. So we cut to Mio getting out the shower, and Mr. Kudo leaves a gift for her. He gives her a new hair comb because Yuri tells Mr. Kudo that like, hey, she still hangs on to like a broken hair comb, and I don't know why. Mio runs in, she's like, you know, I really appreciate that. And Kudo's just like, that's all you know, you're fine. We get a flashback of like Yuri telling Mr. Kudo about the comb and everything, and after that, like he gets her like a new comb. We cut back to the present, and Mio's happy, and she's like very like elated with her gift. Mr. Kudo, he also finds out in the episode like everything that happened in the Saimori household. So he realized like, you know, just buying her nice things and treating her out is not gonna do enough. Like this is like deep trauma that he has to work with Mio through. Mr. Kudo knows now that Mio does not have any powers, and he doesn't really have an issue with it whatsoever. He just like, you know, I still like Mio either way, so like I'm not gonna have an issue with her not having powers, you know. Mr. Kudo also finds out that her mother is a Usuba, and Mio's mom married into Saimori's, and Kudo starts to head home, but then like some paper cranes start to shoot at him, and they're please be patient. Oh man, what this pronunciation? They are Shikigami trying to spy on him. There you go, guys. I got it. Okay, what's next? Mio is having a dream about her mom and her dad fighting about her not having a gift. Her father starts to neglect her when he found out she was giftless. He sees no use in having a daughter that can provide anything for the family. Her mother warns her of her death, and she's like, I apologize for not being able to be here with you, but I need you to be strong and believe in yourself. We cut to Mio and Yuri in the kitchen. Mio wants to give Mr. Kudo a thank you gift, but Mio doesn't really have the funds. So Yuri's just like, oh, how about you like make something from scratch? And Mio just like, hey, that's perfect. So Yuri just like, okay, we'll go in town so I can help you pick out like the best material for Mr. Kudo. And Mio's just like, oh my God, thank you. But Mio decides to do like a braided cord for Mr. Kudo so he can like wrap it around his hair. So Mio asks Mr. Kudo like, hey, can I leave the house? You know, I'm going out of town. And Mr. Kudo's like, oh, bet I can like just go with you real quick. And she's like, no, it's okay. I'm gonna be with Yuri. And he's just like, okay, bet, you know, just be safe. And you know, watch for strangers. We then cut to the Saimoris, and Koji is moping until like his big brother starts to like mess with him. His big brother name is Kazuchi. He messes around with his little brother. And like he bounces around for a little bit. He's just like, what's up, little bro? Boom. It's funny. It's nothing of ill will. It's just a very funny gag. We cut back to Mio and Yuri looking for robes. She finds the perfect colors, and she is so elated. Yuri and Mio stop for salt on the way home, and Yuri tells Mio like, hey, can you wait outside for a little bit while I get the salt? And Mio's just like, okay, bet, I got you. I'll just chill out here. While Mio is waiting, she bumps into her sister. She bumps into her sister Kaya, and now she wants to flaunt around Koji. She couldn't care less for Koji, but now she wants to flaunt around Koji. I'm like, girl, please get a life. I feel like Kaya has like the Grinch's to-do list, y'all. Y'all remember? At 4, I terrorize my husband. 4:30, abuse a servant. 5 o'clock, go shopping. 5:30, abuse my sister. 6:30, dinner with me. 7 o'clock, wrestle with a loveless marriage. I'm booked. We cut to Kudo pulling up to the Saimoris, and Mr. Kudo comes to the Saimoris to make their engagement official. And Mr. Kudo, he goes straight to the point. He's like, look, I know our families are about power, but right now, in my marriage, what I'm trying to pursue is about my woman's safety. I know what y'all did to her, and I expect a formal apology. And if y'all don't give my woman a formal apology, I see no reason for our families to talk anymore. And Kanako and Shinichi's like, what are you talking about? How you said this in my house? Mr. Kudo just like, I came here to say what I got to say, okay? By the end of the day, I came here as a courtesy and a warning. If you don't approve this marriage, I don't care. I'm gonna still do me. So he leave out there and he just like, I'm gonna need an apology at the end of the day. But he leave out of there. We cut back to Kaya making fun of Mio. And I'm like, girl, please get a life, please. You said you didn't want to talk to her or mess with her. You said that just like within the episode. You don't want to talk to her, mess with her, or acknowledge her. But as soon as you see her, she's like, you know, where is the object of ridicule? Kaya is like all over Mio's face. She's like, you know, I bet you poor. I want you to beg for money, beg for my forgiveness. You don't deserve nothing. You don't deserve love. I bet you're getting beat on every day, huh? I'm just like, girl, you know, Kaya really is a coward, because like the biggest bullies are somebody who's gonna fight somebody who ain't gonna fight back. But you know what? You know, the universe works in mysterious ways, and I wonder how it's gonna work with you, Kaya. Yuri comes back from shopping, and Kaya is all up in Yuri's face. She's like, oh, you know, are you servants together? And Yuri just like had to collect her. She's like, oh no, I work for Miss Mia, okay? I'm just a servant, but I work for her. And Kaya's just like, what? Y'all are not servants together? What? Yeah, Kaya, she can be something more than a servant. I need you to believe that in your heart. But I don't think you do. But you know, I love to see somebody get collected really fast. Yuri and Mio, they head back home, and Mio is now like back home really depressed after like talking to her sister, because you know Mio was doing like really well. She was like, okay, you know, I got a man that liked me or whatever. I got like a servant that's like always by me, and she's kind to me and is a good confidant. And then Kaya comes in and destroys all of that. All the progress that she has made in such little time, Kaya has diminished that, and Mio is now back into this cycle of negative self-talk to herself, where she feel like she's undeserving, she doesn't need love, she doesn't need happiness, like she deserves the brunt of her abuse. We cut back to Kaya and Koji, and she is still pissed about Mio having a happy marriage. And on the way in, they pass Mr. Kudo, and Kaya's just like, oh no, he's hot!
Oh no, he's hot!
Now Kaya feels angry that Mio's man is finer than her. And I don't have anything to say to Kaya, so I'll let pre-recorded Akila say something instead. Here's my clips about how I hate Kaya so much in this scene. I am so sorry. I refuse to talk to a girl whose eyes are almost on the side of her head. Let's talk about that. Oh. I can make another joke. Your daddy cheated on your mama. I'm sorry for my voice. Yeah, your daddy cheated on your mama. He kept the baby. That's a joke. Your whole life. You want to swap fiancés like his wife swap? Bitch, nobody like you. You are obnoxious and hard to look at. Girl, move on. Okay. You over here on your mother's tit trying to impress her by what? Abusing somebody? Okay. Thank you. That was a lot of hate, but now we're going to continue. Mr. Kudo makes it back home, and he sees that something is off with Mio. Yuri tells Mr. Kudo everything that happened at the market, And Yuri explains to Mr. Kudo, like, hey, after like she talked with her sister, she's like really depressed and she's not coming out of her room. Mio tells her like, hey, you know, Yuri told me everything that happened, but if you want to talk, I'm here for you. If you need time to heal, I understand. It's going to take a minute for you to open up with me, but it's okay. But just know that I'm here to be a shoulder to lean on. Mr. Kudo wants Mio to have like all the confidence and love in the world. So he wants to like always make sure like she feels safe in this new environment. Then Mr. Kudo asks Yuri, he's like, what can I do? Like, I don't even know what to do in this situation. And Yuri just like, all you can do, you know, is love on her and just like wait for it to grow. And Mr. Kudo is like, okay, bet. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna love on my girl. So it's the next day. Mio finally finished a braid for Mr. Kudo and she feels nervous to give it to him. Yuri then tells Mio that she has a guest, and the guest is Hana, the servant that raised Mio. They get caught up and Mio is glad that she's doing better, and Hana wants to know like, hey, are you happy? And Mio is just like, I am, but I'm scared. Cause like, I'm afraid that like, if Mr. Kudo finds out I don't have powers, everything that like I worked so hard for is just gonna be gone and I'm not gonna have a good life anymore. And Hana informs Mio like, hey, you know, the reason why I'm actually here today was because of Mr. Kudo. So I promise you that man has your best interest and he ain't just gonna leave you out in the dirt like that. Mio is glad that she has a partner that like accepts every facet of her and that makes sure that Mio is happy at all times. Mio is glad and she is grateful that Mr. Kudo doesn't really care about her having powers. So Mio just like, okay, I'm gonna nip this in the bud ahead of time and I'm gonna tell him face to face. I know he knows, but I want to tell him myself. So Mio pull up to Mr. Kudo and just like, hey, you know, I don't got no powers, okay? And I still want to be with you and I like you a lot, but if you want to get rid of me now, I'm ready. And Mr. Kudo is just like, what the hell are you talking about? I didn't say I was gonna kick you out. I just knew you didn't have powers and I wanted to make sure you saw your childhood servant again so I can provide like a little bit of happiness in your life. You know, I do want to see you smile more and I did mean that. So while Mio is over here like begging and pleading, just like, please don't leave me, Mr. Kudo just like, girl, get up. Like, you're fine. You're safe here. No one is going to beat you and nobody's going to kick you out. You're good. Mr. Kudo just like, I don't want you to leave. I want to make you my wife as soon as possible, actually, so we can get the ball rolling on that. I'm ready. Mio just like, you know, I do want to stay and, you know, I do want to pursue this marriage with you. And Mr. Kudo's like, bet, then let's get this thing going then. So Mio gifts Mr. Kudo the little braided rope thing. He's like very excited that Mio made something from him from scratch. He like wears it every day and like, I love it. It's great. It's cute. Mio thanks Hana for helping her out of her rut before she leaves. And Hana just like, hey, you know, believe in yourself and, you know, you got a good man. After Hana leaves, Mr. Kudo is like, hey, you know, if you ever want to visit Hana anytime, like you can. Ain't nobody stopping you. Like, I want you to make sure you still have your connections. We're having like a really happy moment until that gets interrupted by paper crane spies. Koji's dad is spying on them and he is really mad that they are doing okay. He's just like, how dare he not abuse you? He's ruining my whole plan. He will now make a plan to like stop all this happiness. And at the end of the episode, there is some foreshadowing that Kaya will get manipulated by Toji's father. It's the next day and Mio opens up all these new kimonos. She notices that Mr. Kudo got her a cherry blossom kimono specifically, and she is very glad because the cherry blossom kimono reminds her of her mother. Mio thanks Mr. Kudo for the kimonos. Of course, he's like, you know, you're too nice. You know, I don't feel like I should have this. And Mr. Kudo's just like, take this as a thank you gift for the braid. And, you know, I feel like they're one of those couples that like cannot let the other one get a gift without letting the other person have a gift. It's like, oh, here's a gift just for you. Like, oh, dear God, you're so kind. You know, here's a gift just for you. And then it's just back and forth. It's, you know. So Mio gets told that like, hey, Mr. Kudo chose the fabric himself. And like, she feels even more flattered because like, she didn't even tell Mr. Kudo about Mio's mom, but like it felt like he already knew. So we cut back to Koji's dad talking to Kaya, and they're surprised that Mio is actually doing well, and they have to make a plan to ruin that. Kaya is like crashing out from finding out like, how dare my sister that I abused all my life had a fine man that treat her right and spoil her. I low-key think she calling me a like, who is saying that to you, Kaya? Oh my God, you are so irrational. So Kaya is like, okay, I'm gonna request from my father to break them up because, you know, daddy always listens to me. We cut to Mio making dinner for Gudo because Gudo and Mr. Kudo are coming to the house so they can have like a little dinner get together. They make it to the house. Mr. Kudo sees Mio. He just like, God damn. That's all mine. That's my fiance. He's just starstruck to see his wife. That paper crane that I was talking about earlier is still watching the Kudos, and Kaya is like seeing it in real time from it. And she's just like, I can't do this. Why does she have a better life than me? Oh my God. I've never seen somebody with superpowers complain so much. We cut to the Samoris, and Kaya is having a fit that her dad was like, no, you're not switching husbands. And Kaya's just like, why can I switch husbands? You know, I'm a better fit for the Kudos. I'm prettier than Mio. I have powers. So like, why can't I just switch husbands? And Kaya's dad is like really done with the conversation. So he tells her like, hey, get your bored ass on and stop talking to me, okay? Worry about your little husband you got over there. Don't talk to me. We cut to Kaya asking like, hey, do you want to marry Mio instead of me, with like some sinister type grin. So Kaya is having a fit like, how dare she be happier than me? Like, who does she think she is? And like, how many men you gotta steal to like make a point? Girl, if you don't sit down and get you a concubine and call it a day, like, I don't need all this from you. You really are size grandma at heart. We cut back to dinner with the Kudos, and Gudo is getting like really lit off the rice wine. Mio is like really glad that Gudo dropped off Hana to the place, and Gudo's like, oh, ain't nothing but a thing. You know, I just did something that was right. Mio is just like, you know, I'm just very grateful for you. I really do appreciate you. And Gudo is glad that Mio is also grateful. You know, Gudo get like really excited with the food and alcohol. One thing Gudo gonna get is like really lit in the show. He gonna have him a good time with that rice wine and that sake. When he was really lit, he acts like, Mio, you know, I want your hand in marriage. You know, forget this man. Okay, you're gonna be with me. But, you know, Mio answered honestly. She's like, you know, I'm sorry, but, you know, my heart belongs to Mr. Kudo. Like, that's my man. I'm gonna stick beside him. Gudo goes home after this, after like getting lit. He have a nice time. And Mr. Kudo is like very flattered about like what Mio said earlier. So Mr. Kudo is like very glad dinner went well and that Mio is like happy. So we cut back to the Samoris, and Kaya's having a little fit about not being able to switch husbands. Her dad was just like, girl, if you don't get your bored ass on and leave me alone, girl, mess with your husband. Why are you messing with me? Why you want another man? You already got the man you wanted. You said you wanted to steal this man for your sister. You got what you wanted. Shut up and just deal with it. But Kaya's like, I'm better fit for the Kudos. Like, I deserve it. Like, and her dad don't want to hear it. You don't want to hear it at all. So yeah, we cut to Kaya asking if Koji wants to marry Mio instead, but like with like a little devilish grin because like she got like a plan. We cut back to the Kudos, and Mio is having a nightmare, people in agony, begging for help. And I'm thinking that maybe her spirit senses are finally like activating, but like in a negative way. Mr. Kudo checks up on Mio because like he heard her like sound really distressed in her sleep, and he knows that there's some remnants of an ability, but he finds it strange that the barrier has not been broken. So now he's confused, and Mr. Kudo wakes up Mio to get her out the nightmare. Mr. Kudo asks like, hey, are you okay? You all good? And Mio's just like, yeah, it's all a bad dream. I'm fine. Mr. Kudo's like, okay, I don't want anything to happen, to you. So like, you know, I'm glad and I'm relieved like you're all good. And I'm here if you want to talk. We cut to Koji taking a stroll, and he sees some businessman in the car. He just like, they're selling up with that. I don't know what's up. He peeped that they were probably there to make new marriage arrangements. So Koji knows some slick shit's going on. We cut back to the Kudos, and Mio is making lunch. Mio wants to surprise her man with lunch at work. And while Mio is getting ready, Mr. Kudo surprises her with a bag that matches her kimono. We cut back to the Samoris, and Koji's dad and Kaya are planning something. Koji step in the room, and he's just like, what's going on? Like, what y'all trying to plan? And Kaya's just like, I'm planning to switch my fiancés. And Koji's just like, your sister just ain't gonna switch fiancés like that. How you gonna do that? And Kai's like, oh, I'm gonna convince my sister she will switch fiancés with me. So we cut back to the Kudos, and Mio is dropping off lunch to Kyoka. I said it right that time. He is very flattered that like she thought of him, like, oh my God, my girl got me lunch. I feel so flattered. Mio and Yuri are about to leave out, but Kyoka asks like ahead of time, like, hey, do you have the amulet that I gave earlier? And she does have it, but she doesn't. She has it at the house, but she don't got it on her. She thinks she has it in her purse, but she don't know yet. So as Mio and Yuri like are walking out, Mr. Kudo's just like, you know, hey, I'm sorry I couldn't like drive y'all back, but you know, be safe. Mio is looking for her amulet in her bag, and she tells like Yuri like, oh crap, I forgot my amulet. And Yuri's just like, okay, let's go ahead and get to the house. So Mio and Yuri are rushing back home so Mio can get the amulet, and then Mio gets kidnapped by background characters from Bayonetta. Sorry. She gets kidnapped by some evil men, some evil invisible men, and they just snatch her. So you're just like, what's happening? I can only imagine you getting snatched up in the street by air, and then people roll off in a car. So Yuri's just like, oh my God, what have I done? I'm like, Mio just got kidnapped, just like that. The invisible men that kidnapped Mio worked for the Tatsuishis, Koji's dad, and they're gonna bring her to him. Koji finds out that Mio is currently getting kidnapped, and he's like, Dad, what the hell? Can you just give the girl a break? Why are you kidnapping her? I don't know how you yell at your father about like kidnapping your ex-girlfriend, but like Koji tried. He's like, it's unfortunate like what happened to the girl and how she got abused. And Koji was just like, so you knew the whole entire time and you could have been married her off to me, but then we had to take this long-winded route just for her to get kidnapped. And he's just like, yeah. So Koji gets like really pissed, and he's just like, you're not gonna take anything away from me anymore. Mio doesn't deserve this. Tonight, today is the day that you go down. I don't like when some characters in, not just the anime, in all shows, they think that anger and them having a good power means that they will automatically become a master at what they do. Now, Koji's dad had to collect them real quick. He's like, I had to remind us you just a puppy and I'm a big dog. So Koji's dad slammed him with his power. He's like, oh, that's cute. You got your little telekinesis, little telepathic powers. I'm your daddy at the end of the day, and you don't train. So you're going to get slammed. So Koji's dad just like, I suggest you start making a plan for your little girlfriend or whatever, because I'm about to head out. You can stay there, bro. You know, don't with you. Koji is like now helpless on the floor, and Koji dad leaves for the meeting. His big brother sees him on the floor. He's just like, wow, he is pathetic. And he helps his brother get free. And Koji feels guilty. He's like, I was supposed to protect Mio, and I was supposed to be there for her. And Kazushi was like, yeah, you were supposed to do all those things. Why are you talking to me about it? Like, he's like, if you about that action, you would have been left. But you're over here talking to me. Go and save your girl. So we cut back to the Kudos, and Yuri tells everything that happens to Mr. Kudo. Just like, hey, Mio got kidnapped and everything. She didn't have her amulet on her. Cause like Mr. Kudo's just like, okay, where's the amulet so I could track her? Yuri's just like, it's all about that. She left it at the house. We were on our way to get the amulet. And then she got kidnapped by the background characters of Bayonetta. And here we are today. Koji pulls up to the anti-grotesquerie unit, and he's like, hey, you know, I know where Mio is. Like, please let me in. Mr. Kudo is like, I bet, let him in so he can tell us the information we need to know. Mio is tied up in this strange room, and Kaya comes in to mock Mio. Her mama in the back is like, yeah, girl, you better traumatize her. Like, what? We cut to Kyoka and Koji rushing to Mio. Koji is getting really pissed that Mr. Kudo is calm. He just like, I don't think you really care about Mio like that, because like, why are you so calm? Mr. Kudo just like, do you think me being angry on the way there is gonna help anything? And Koji's like, nah. He's like, I'm gonna get to business, so let me handle my business, Koji. Sit down. We cut back to the Samoris, and Mio is like, what the hell did I do? Why am I being kidnapped? Why am I tied up like this? I thought I left y'all. And Kaneko just like, you here because you think you better than us, huh? You think you better than all because you got a fine man? Because you got a better life? Because you're not being abused? That's why you getting kidnapped, because you think that you better than. So Kaneko, Kaya's mama, tell Mio, I need you to step down from your marriage. And Mio's just like, I'm not going to step down from my marriage. And she tells Mio to say, I reject and wish to leave this marriage with you. And Kaya then tries to cut Mio's kimono to make her say that. Kaya believes that Mio is an ill fit as a wife to Mr. Kudo and she doesn't deserve nice things. And Mio is just like, no, I do deserve nice things. And I do deserve my man. And I don't deserve to get cut for that. But her sister cuts the kimono anyways and then try to cut her jugular while she's at it. Mio refused to say, like, I'm going to reject this marriage. So Kaya withdraws and does not cut her jugular. She tells Kaya, I'm not going to, like, refuse this marriage whatsoever. I refuse. And then Kaneko slaps the hell out of her. Kaya cuts her down just so she can see Mio be a begging, crumbling mess. Then after that, Kaya berates Mio for not having any powers whatsoever. And she's like, see, I like that. When you're weak, that's when I get enjoyment. Now, Kaya, I'm just saying, like, if you so like, I'm stronger than you, I'm better than you, why you gotta tie her up? I'm just saying, if you about that life and you got them hands like that, I'm just saying, you wouldn't need to do all that. That's all I'm just telling you to do. You don't gotta listen to me. You don't gotta listen to me. I'm sorry, microphone. I didn't mean to hurt you. We cut to Koji and Mr. Kudo at the Saimori's door. And Koji and Mr. Kudo are trying to get in. And Mr. Kudo is like, this door is in the way. So he uses lightning powers, like, boom! And he blasts open the door like he is Zula. So they walk up inside like they own the place and everything. And the first thing Mr. Kudo asks when he enter up, where's my fiance? And where do I need to go to get her? Koji's daddy is just like, oh, you know, she done with you and everything. And Mr. Kudo just like, I'm seeing you're not answering my question. I didn't ask for all that. I know that my fiance didn't say nothing about that to me. So I'm going to ask you one more again. Where is my fiance and where can I locate her at? Locate her at, you know? Like, you either tell me where my fiance is or you move out the way. Koji dad refuses and he's like, all right, bet you want some action today. I was trying to be peaceful about it, but look like I gotta blow some stuff up. And Koji's dad tells Shinichi, like, hey, if you don't start helping me before this man burn your whole estate down, I need your powers with me too. I am not that strong. Help me from the crazy man. So they make a little barrier. Mr. Kudo, he break that barrier. And Koji's dad tries to airbend and he block it again because, you know, it's light work. He's him. Then Mr. Kudo electrocutes the hell out of Koji's dad. He's like, okay, that's done and over with. I don't gotta deal with that no more. Mr. Kudo proceeds to look for his fiance and Kaneko peep what's going on outside. So she pushes Mio down and tells her, like, to say the thing already, like, hurry up. She refuses and Kaya mama then kicks the hell out of her. And Mio's like, you know, I'm not gonna be saying all that because I matter. I know my worth in this world and you're not gonna break me down like that. We cut to Koji telling Mr. Kudo where the storage room is at, and that's where they probably are, like, holding Mio. Koji dad tries to burn his own son and Mr. Kudo, but again, this is light work for him. So Mr. Kudo don't even get touched. Koji dad ends up burning up the whole place, and this man is so hell-bent on Kudo not marrying Mio that he makes a fire NATO. Yes, a fire NATO. And Mr. Kudo is just like, I don't got time for all this. So he hit him again with a lightning strike. He's just like, you didn't get electrocuted the first time good enough. I got something for your ass. So we cut back to Kaya and Mio, and Kaya is still trying to get Mio to, like, reject Kudo by strangling her. Mio refuses because she wants to survive. She's like, I'm gonna survive for my man. I'm gonna get through this. Whatever you do, you ain't gonna break me down. Mio just, you know, being alive doesn't hurt anymore. So I have a reason to live. So Kudo comes rushing down to her, and Mio is glad that her man is finally here. And Kaneko sees the fire outside, and she sees that her house is burnt down. Of course, you're on your knees crying. I already have a pre-recorded amount of insults, so I'm gonna let myself go crazy on that one. Kaneko. You know, you really make my ass itch for real. I could tell you are not a complacent side chick. I could feel like you complaining all the time, like why you are a side chick. So what are we for real? Shawty, you know you on the side. Why are you asking all these questions? You stay fighting with a ghost that's not there. You got to marry this man that look 40 and 60-year-old at the same time, and then create this little demon child who's rude to everything. You made an inbred looking kid. You were second choice. Your home is burnt down. Okay, you have this dead woman living rent free in your head. You cut down her cherry blossom tree, and that's why you're homeless. That's why your family name means nothing. That's why you thought you had to bully a 5-year-old, because you're insignificant, you have no personality, nobody likes you, and that's why you're second choice. You're just a side chick that got lucky. Calm down, okay? That's why your kid is getting abused, and that's why you're getting your lick back. Karma is something else in this world, and it got some for your ass. I hope your pillow is always hot. I hope your food is always undone. I hope you in a rush somewhere in your car breakdown, because you deserve everything not coming in your life. That's all I got, guys. I'm out of breath. Okay. Hell yeah. Okay. I know I already explained in the recordings, but like, back to the show, guys. Okay. Mr. Kudo gets on Kaya ass for being like a weak bully, and then Kaya was like trying to save face. I'm like, then Kaya was trying to like save face, and he was like, "Nah, girl, you really for that. Not gonna lie." Then Mr. Kudo hit her with are you serious? Are you like really dead ass trying to lie in front of my face after I saw you with my own eyes strangle my fiance, and you want to be like, you know, it's not my fault, and you know, she thinks she's better than all, and girl, anyways, she wants to like defend herself and like insult Mio, and like, do you really want to insult the Avatar's fiance? I don't think you do. Your house is already burnt down, so I don't see a reason why he should listen to you. So she was over here telling Kudo like, you know, I'm the better choice or whatever. I'm just saying, people who are the better choice don't have to torture and kidnap people. I think that's a valid point. Kudo just like, girl, shut up and bye. Girl, shut up, bye. Okay. You know, Kai still ain't letting up. She's just like, you know, what are you doing? And like, Kudo, quit your yapping and get out my face. If you ain't got nothing good to me to say, I'm leaving with my fiance. Bye. I would never marry somebody as arrogant like you, girl. So Kaya finally shut up, and now she feels shame. Now you feel shame? This is when you feel shame? Oh, Lord. So Koji spots Kaya, and he's like, hey, we gotta evacuate. And Kaya just like, no, leave me here. And then Koji's just like, oh my freaking God. Kaya, get out the burning building. No, you don't like me, and you wanted to marry Mio anyways. Those are both valid facts. But if I leave you here to die, Mio will be on my ass. If it was up to me, you would die here today. But I know your sister would mourn for you. So the only reason I'm saving your ass is because of her. So you can shut up and leave, or you can shut up and burn. It's your choice. Kudo walking out there like a G. He like, I'm walking out with mine. Burning state in the background. He like, I'm gonna show y'all his work. And he did. And he got his woman at the end of the day. So we cut to Mio, and her mom is in her dreams, and her mom apologizes for leaving her and tell her to like believe in yourself and believe like in the power within you. We cut to the Emperor, and we learn he was working with Koji's dad. He doesn't want Mio to marry Kudo either. Apparently he has a plan to put things back where they belong. Some type of operation is about to go down, and we're gonna see. So Mio wakes up and Kudo was already there for her by her bedside. And Kudo gets her up and Mio feels really bad about the amulet. She's like, yeah, I said I was going to have it on me all the time. And Kudo just like, I don't care about that. Like, I'm glad that my fiance is safe. And Yuri comes in, she's crying like all tears of happiness. She's like, I'm so sorry, Mio. I didn't think you was going to get like kidnapped from the background characters, a bayonetta. Like, I didn't mean to do this to you. And Mio's just like, it's okay, it's fine. Like, it's not your fault. Like, you couldn't have done anything. And, you know, it's a good reunion and like, I love it. And I like, that's the end of like that episode. So Mio asks, Yuri if the Saimoris survived the fire. Everybody is all good, but like Kudo is surprised she even asked about if there was okay. Cause like in his head, Kyoka is like, why the hell are they asking about these people? They just kidnapped her 24 hours ago and tortured her. And she's trying to see how they doing. She's like, my woman is a kind woman. That couldn't be me though. So Mio asks like Mr. Kudo like, hey, can I just pull up to like my old family home again? And like, he's like, okay, bet I'll do that for you. So they pull up and Mio sees, you know, her childhood home burnt down. Shinichi and Kaneko left. They're in ruin and the Saimoris are no more. They're not a big name anymore. And Kaya, Kaya now works for an abusive family. You see how the world works like that? You know, bad people get their lick back too. In tenfold. God, I love it. Ooh. Mr. Kudo's like, hey, it's not the all of the Saimori's fault because the Suishis had like a role in it and it wouldn't be burnt, like your whole childhood home wouldn't be burnt down if it wasn't for Suishis, and this is why we're here today. Kazushi now holds the family title of the Tatsuishis. The Tatsuishis like only answer to the Kudos now, and they're like kind of like bodyguards. Koji offers to rebuild the Saimori house, and Kaya just like, I don't need your pity. And Koji's like, I was just trying to help. And Kaya's just like, ain't you supposed to be getting out the room? And Koji's like, bet, okay. I guess I ain't trying to help you. And Koji is way too nice for me. Because like, if I found out that like my ex's sister who constantly abused her is finally going to an abusive family, let me tell you, I would throw her clothes out the third floor. And if we don't have a third floor, I would build the third floor just to throw her clothes out the window and burn it to a fire so she don't even got no clothes. So you can be just like your sister, only have one kimono. Was that very convoluted? Yes. But I don't care because I relish in this woman's misery. We cut back to the Kudos and to Mio's mom's cherry blossom tree. The tree is burnt, but it's still standing. Mio feels like her mom was calling back to her via the tree. So Mia touches the stump and I think she got her powers. Once she touched it, it turned to ash, and Mr. Kudo feels really bad for like messing up the estate in his rage. And Mio's like, hey, you have to do what you have to do. I was kidnapped and you have to get me back at what's the word for it? You had to get me back by any means necessary. There we go. So the Kudos head out and Kyoka is like, I know my family ain't gonna be there when I get married, but I still want to proceed in like our engagement. Mr. Kudo is going to introduce Mio to his dad, and Mio's like really nervous. She's like, oh, what if I mess it up and everything? And Kudo just like, I don't give a hoot what my daddy think. I'm still marrying you either way. Okay, so you gonna meet him, but if he just like, no, I'm just like, I don't care. That's my woman at the end of the day. The Kudos bump into Koji. He thanks Mr. Kudo for helping him. Koji asks like Kyoka like, hey, can I talk to Mio real quick in private? And they go to their old spot to talk. And Mio thanks him for the help. And Koji's like, hey, I'm leaving town so I can train. But I wanted to say my final goodbyes because I realized that rage plus powers doesn't equal a master. So I wanted to come in here and tell you, like, I'm training, I'm leaving that town, finding me, and I wanted to say thank you to your fiance, and I wanted to give my final goodbyes before I leave. We cut to the Kudos, and they have started with their engagement procedure. They are now formally engaged. Mio is now a madam. Mio meets Hazuki Kudo, Kyoka's older sister. We cut to Mr. Kudo and Mio wants to re-educate herself as a lady. And Kudo's just like, it's cool, but you're like, you don't gotta bow to me when you ask me questions. And Mio starts blushing from there. She's like, not him treating me like a person or whatever. Like, not me having to stay on the floor when I bow to him. Oh my God, he might have a little junior running around from here. I'm sorry. But Kyoka dance self think like she having a fever. He just like, why are you over here so red in the face? You sick? He's like, no, just blushing. It's cute. I like it. I love it. Mr. Kudo, he's like, okay, bet I'll arrange a teacher for you so you can like get to your class like right away. So her teacher is Hazuki, Kyoka's sister. Everybody is like all reunited. You know, they feel so good. The girls are chilling. They looking at flowers. They start their lessons, and Kyoka is waiting impatiently for his wife. You know, he's out the door. He's like, I wonder when she's gonna finish her lesson. Mio is glad that Hazuki is there, and Hazuki is also glad that Mio is there. They're acting like such a cute family, and I love that. Hazuki tells Mio to set a goal for like her etiquette classes, and there's going to be a party in the next 2 months that the Kudos will attend. This would be the perfect time to practice. Mr. Kudo agrees with his sister. Mio agrees to join the party, and Mio is glad that she met Hazuki so she can go forward within her classes. My bad. Mio is glad that she met Hazuki and she is looking forward to her classes. We cut to Kyoka, and apparently there's a gift user nearby. He rushes to Mio's room and she's having nightmares again. And he doesn't know why this is happening because the barrier is like never broken when she has these nightmares. And the only answer has to be her lineage with her being a Usaba. We cut to this like spiritual gathering and a boulder broke because of some creatures. We cut to Kyoka speaking to the General Masahi, and he wants him to be a part of the Tatsuishi case. His Majesty requested it, and the grave has been hit, and that's bad. So, the grave is a burial ground for gift users. They are where the vengeful spirits of the supernaturally gifted transform into a grotesquerie. That's why they're sealed away and they cannot be loose. The Emperor was the one who found out about the seal being broken, and Kyoka, Masahi are walking and they bump into Tatsuishi, and they chat about meeting up with the Emperor and like dress code, because Tatsuishi is like dressed real lavish, and Kyoka's like, why are you dressed like that? And he's just like what? I'm dressed to look for the Emperor. And he's just like, child. They don't meet with the Emperor. They end up meeting with the Emperor's son, Takahito. Kazushi introduces himself as the new head of Tatsuishis. He promised he would seek guidance from the Kudos, and Takahito forgives the Tatsuishis on his father's behalf. They get to business and they start talking about the grave being unsealed. We then get backstory from Takahito about the grave. The dangers are coming to the imperial capital. That's where all the people are at. And Takahito said he will inform them more about the grave when he gets the info. But for now, meeting adjourned. They're about to balance until Takahito pulls Mr. Kudo to the side. He's like, hey, y'all can go, but you stay back. And he warns him about his marriage. He's like, your marriage is going to be difficult, but don't worry about it too hard. We cut to the Kudos, and Mio is in her modern clothes at the moment. She is at her etiquette class with Hazuki, and she feels like she's getting to know her sister a lot better. We cut back to the anti-grotesquerie unit, and Kyoka is thinking about what Takahito said. Because he knows something about Mio, he don't. And he's thinking about what does he know about Mio, and is it that bad? He figures the warning has something to do with the Usaba family. The Usabas have mind powers and they can enter in people's dreams. So Kyoka thinks that the nightmares have something to do with the Usaba family. No one broke in the house and none of the barriers are broken when Mio were having these nightmares. So he's like, okay, it has to be something to do with her lineage on why she can't sleep and why she's acting like this. Mr. Kudo leaves the anti-grotesquerie unit, and we cut back to Mio and Hazuki at their etiquette class. Hazuki asks if Mio can stop calling her Miss. She's like, there's no need to be formal. We're sisters, we're okay. we're about to be in the same family. You know, you can call me sister if you want to. And Mio's not really ready to call Hazuki sister because of her past relationship with Kaya. And Mio's just like, hey, you know, I don't know if I can call you sister, but I can drop the miss and I can call you Hazuki instead. And Hazuki like, okay, I understand. And she doesn't like press Mio any further. Hazuki, she bounces and she's like, hey, I'll come back to you tomorrow. We cut back to Kyoka and he finds out about the Usabas, but not a lot of records about the family. His investigators couldn't even find they were located. The only thing they were able to find about the Usaba is there was somebody who was named Sumi Usaba. She was the only one who used the last name, and she was the only one who used it when she got married when she had Mio. Kyoka then tells like, hey, I need you to like look around the area for every Sumi possible. Like I need like a trace back to like what's going on and why my fiance is in so much pain. So we come back to Mio and she is having nightmares. Mr. Kudo is there to tend to her. It's the next day and Mio is at her etiquette class. Mr. Kudo has been coming home late because of work, so Mio sees him here and there now and is causing quite a strain on their relationship because he's coming home from work and Mio is just like exhausted from her constantly having nightmares. We cut back to the anti-grotesquerie unit. The Ministry of the Imperial Household pulls up. We get introduced to Arata Tsuraki. So Mr. Kudo talk about business with Arata. They talk about like all the suspicious men that's around the grave and how like Mr. Kudo can help the like capital be pushed into like the right direction. Arata is a part of the Tsuruki trading, so he's good at negotiating. And Arata is being a little bit too into Kudo's business right now. Kyoka is like, hey, I appreciate for you wanting to help with the case. But, you know, any personal matter you have with me and that involves my household, you can leave that outside because I'm not going to talk about that with you. If you want to talk about work, fine, good. Thank you for your help. Really appreciate it. Stay out of my house. Arata's like, okay, cool. You know, sorry about that. And he leave. And he's like, I hope to work with you soon. And we cut to Mr. Kudo at the grave looking for like the grotesqueries. They found a man passed out in the area and Kazushi can undo the curse, but his powers are only able to work on living things. They ask like if he can still do it. He's like, okay, bet I'll try. And we cut back to Kyoka and his men searching for the spirits, and Kazushi tries to heal one of the wounded men, and he ended up seeing the same demons that Mio is seeing. And the curse was so strong for Kazushi that he had to take like a step back. Mr. Kudo and his men hear something, and y'all, he got that hand cocked at the enemy. He just like ready for that fire explosion. Boom, boom. I'm ready. The demons pull up, and we cut back to Mio's nightmares again. Both Mr. Kudo and Mio are fighting in their own way. Mr. Kudo is fighting in the outside world while Mio is fighting in the dreamscape with these demons that are in her head. So we get foreshadowing from Arata about this cherry blossom tree he goes to, and we learn about this thing called we learn about this thing called the awakening. We don't get a lot of details, but I'm assuming it has something to do with Mio. Mio, Yuri, and Hazuki, they go in town to practice etiquette today. And Mio is very nervous but exhausted because she hasn't slept in days because of her constant nightmares. And Hazuki peeps that. She's like, okay, let's go ahead and go home early so you won't be like too exhausted and everything. And some kids bump into Mio and she starts to collapse from exhaustion. Kyoka comes in the nick of time to like save his woman, but it's actually not. Kyoka is actually Arata, which is not her man. So Arata is the one that catches Mio, and once Mio realizes it ain't her man, she apologizes to Arata. He's like, it's cool, like as long as you're not hurt. And Yuri and Hazuki is like, are you okay, girl? Like, please, you cannot overexert yourself like that. Like, are you good? Let's go ahead and go home so you can rest. Then Arata looks at her from afar. He's like, you don't know how special you are. Why are you saying this so creepily? Is he saying this creepily because it's foreshadowing? It might be foreshadowing. I don't know. So Kyoka comes in rushing in for Mio since he heard she collapsed in town. He wonders like, why are you pushing yourself so hard? And Apparently there is a remote gift user attacking Mio in her dreams. Usabas are the only one who can do that. So he's just like, there's no crack in the barrier. Mio is still having this stuff going on. And Kyoka tells his sister about the dreams that may be harming Mio because she's an Usaba. And Hazuki is really shocked because like, oh, I didn't even know Usabas were like still a thing. Nobody's ever heard of them. I didn't even think Mio was one. Kyoka's theory is instead of her gaining the gift, she would have like an adverse reaction to the gift, like Jotaro's mom in JoJo Bizarre Adventure when she couldn't handle her stand because she was not strong enough to handle her stand. Mio is not aware of the Usaba's family gifts. She never got to ask because like her mother passed when she was young. Kyoka wants to ask about the Usabas, but like he knows that Mio is like pretty reserved. We cut to like a guy and their dog, and this dog is going crazy because he see a grotesquerie. They end up passing away from the grotesqueries. So that was like a little short bit. So the grotesqueries has already reached a populated area, and Mio just woke up from another nightmare. Mio is tired as hell and she hasn't had any rest. Mio feels bad for being tired because Hazuki reduced her study hours, and now she feels like she can't be like a lady in time for like the event in 2 months. Mio calls Kyoka to see when he's coming home, and he's going to be working late again. And Mio wants to prepare lunch, but Mr. Kudo is just like, hey, there's no need for that. Mr. Kudo asks her how she's feeling because he knows about the dreams, and she said like, it's okay not to worry about it. We cut back to Mr. Kudo at work making a plan for the grave. Kyoka is going to request urgent permission to take action from the ministry. We cut back to Mio, Yuri, and Hazuki, and Mio is making lunch for everybody. Yuri and Hazuki is like, hey, don't overexert yourself. We appreciate the lunch, but like, calm down, sit down. Mio is glad that everybody likes her food, and Hazuki is like, I never learned how to cook, so it's great that you can. And Yuri's just like, it was difficult for Hazuki to get a partner because of her cooking. Her cooking was very lackluster, so she wasn't able to get a man for a minute. Hazuki said like, oh, I don't want to like reminisce from the past or anything like that, but since you ask, here is my backstory. Hazuki regrets how her marriage ended, and Hazuki got married when she was like about 17 years old. Her husband was a good man, but she didn't really agree with the family. Every time she did chores, she messed up because she came from the Kudos. She never really had to do chores like that in the first place. Every time she had an argument with her husband would always like console her and be there for her. But like one day, an argument got too heated and like they split after that. When she got home to her parents, she like regretted how she like ended the marriage and that she got divorced, and she felt like she could have like worked a bit harder in her marriage. But Hazuki admires that Mio takes life head on and she's always ready to learn. She wants Mio to prioritize herself so she won't ever live life with regrets. Then she asks Mio like, hey, what is the ideal version of yourself? And Mio wants to be a good wife and a good fit for Kudo. She wants to be a refined lady. Mio never thought about it till now, and she is certain that she wants to be with Lord Kudo. We cut back to Mr. Kudo and the investigator, and he has a book of every Sumi in the capital. Sumi is a pretty common name, so it's going to take forever. So he told the investigator to try all of them, and Kyoka is finally home, and Mio asks like, hey, can I sit down with you while I drink some tea? This is the first time they actually had some alone time for themselves. Kudo wanted to apologize for like being so busy and haven't had the time to talk. He asked Mio like, hey, are you all good? And Mio said she's fine. Mio was trying to like talk to Kudo more and like not just like focus on herself in the conversation. So she's like, hey, how's your relationship with your sister? And like, how does she like act with you? And like, how do you act with her? Kudo is like, oh, I have a great relationship with my sister. She's just really loud. I mean, she's like ride or die. She's gonna be down for me as her brother. She's just loud as all hell. After Kudo started talking about his sister, like how they have a good relationship and everything, and how they're all cool, like is she loud and whatnot, he asks Mio like, hey, like, do you want to like come over and sit next to me? And then he tells like Mio like, hey, if you ever feel in pain or if you ever feel like distraught, you can like talk to me, right? Kudo is like really kind of frustrated at Mio at this point. He's like, I can't know what you're feeling if you don't say anything to me. Mio doesn't buy that Kyoka is gonna like actually be a shoulder to cry on for her. He asks Mio, are you feeling lonely? And she's like, no, I'm not feeling lonely. And he asks Mio again, baby, are you feeling lonely? Because I'm feeling lonely too. Mio finally says how she feels. She's like, yeah, I've been feeling like really lonely lately. And Kyoka is like so glad that like she feels the same, and that like he's just like alone in this relationship that feel like they're being distant. He's like, look, if there's anything going on, just tell me. If you have like any negative emotions you want to share, just tell me. Like, we're family through thick and thin. Like, I'm here for you. Mio's glad that she got a good man, but she wants to learn how to stand on her own. So like, she still doesn't like talk to Mr. Kudo about her problems. So Arata pulled up to the Kudos unannounced, and Mio thanks him for like saving her. Arata sees that Mr. Kudo isn't home. He was called in last minute, so he had to go. He apologized for not calling in ahead of time before he like pulled up and all unannounced, and he introduced himself to Mio. He was talking about how everyone was talking about her since Kyoka finally got a fiance that he likes, and however, his tundra personality, it's very true to his nature, and I can tell that you're being neglected. And Mio was just like, no, my man. And then Arata started going on and on about like how Kudo was pushing up on her, abusing her, talking to her all type of crazy, and Mio just like, that's just not true. And you just ain't gonna talk crap about my man in my face. So she like, calm down on my man now. Calm down. He didn't force me to do anything. I pushed myself to a point of exhaustion. He's a good man, and you're not going to talk about my man on the front door of my house. So Mio then gets a migraine from defending her man, and she's already tired. So like, dude, leave. Old dude get the hint, and he was like doing the most. So he just like, go ahead and leave. Before he goes, he gives her an offer for a unique role that only Mio can feel. If you want to hit me up about like the role and everything, you know, I'm here. Mr. Kudo is currently waiting for Arata right now. Arata said the permission was granted from the ministry for authority to be transferred to Kudo. They're going to do a large scale sweep, and Arata apologized for being late, and he was like, I saw your fiance today. And he's like taunting Kudo about this. He like, she looking real good, huh? Arata is now accusing Kudo of abusing Mio since she looks so fragile. Plus she collapsed on the street, and he's like, you can't even be there for your wife. You weak. You know that? What is up with this man pulling up to people's places and just insulting them? My God. So Arata just like, you know, call me when you need me, okay? I'm here. Just give me a call. So we cut back to Kyoka, and he finds out there's not a lot of birth certificates for the Sumis. And the only thing that he could find was for Sumi Suriki. I'm trying to remember the name off the top of my head. I'm trying to remember it. Please bear with me. And that is Arata's last name and his family business. So Kudo was just like, I gotta get home ASAP. Something ain't right. And he started looking for Mio. And Mio is standing over a fire cooking. Mind you, this girl is exhausted. Mio's just like, it's okay, baby. I'm fine. And Kudo is just like, I know about the nightmares, baby. You can talk to me. Like, have I not made a space where you can talk to me? Even after all this time, you still won't say anything at me. Am I that untrustworthy to you? And she's like, baby, no, you're not that untrustworthy. Like, I trust you. I didn't want to be a bother. I didn't want to seem like I can't handle anything on my own. So like, I worked myself like this. You didn't do anything to me. And you're like, you know, you just seem so tired. I didn't want to bother you or anything like that. And Kudo yelled at her. He's like, how can you know that I'm tired when you barely see me come home? And he's like, if this etiquette class is pushing you to the point of exhaustion, I'm gonna just have to cut it right now. And I shouldn't have left you study in the first place. It was gonna like lead to this. Mio starts to cry, and she tells Mr. Kudo that he is being very cruel. Mio felt like Kudo was acting like her dad by taking something away from her that makes her happy. Even though this was not the case was more like Kudo saw his fiance constantly going through these nightmares and being heavily exhausted to the point of collapsing. And he just like, if you are pushing yourself so hard for this etiquette class, the etiquette class is the problem. And I can see that you don't know how to balance right. So I'm gonna just have to take this away from you so you can like recenter yourself. And Mio feels like, okay, he's taking something away from me that makes me happy and joyful. And he's doing it just like how the Saimoris do it. I can see how Mio felt that way, but Mr. Kudo, he has points. He just like, you're working yourself to like exhaustion for something I don't really want that bad. Mio wanted to be more refined lady. Kudo couldn't care any less. He was only supporting his fiance. But yeah, Mio feels like Kudo is being like really cruel, and she starts to cry, and he starts to feel guilty because he's just like, am I acting like the Saimoris? Kudo is just like, Arata's right. Maybe I am a bad husband. Mio collapses on the floor from like the emotional outburst he had, and also not being able to sleep for days on end. Kudo picks her up, and when Kudo picks her up, he sees Arata's business card come out her pocket. He's just like, the math is mathing. Things are clicking, Steven. We have to go to the Surutskis. Yeah, I pronounced that right. Kudo goes speed down the block looking for Arata to see where he at. He makes it to the Surutski residence, and Mio wakes up in Kyoka's arms, and Mio wants to walk on her own, so Kudo puts her down. He double checks like, hey, are you okay? And she's like, yeah, I'm good. They run into a cherry blossom tree in the middle of the summer. He's like, that's kind of off right there. But the place feels like so familiar to Mio, and she doesn't know why. Then Arata come down step. He's like, oh my God, y'all took forever. I was wondering y'all was gonna put two and two together. Apparently, this is the home of the Usabas. Arata is one. And the name that he used to give Kudo was like an alias, essentially. So Arata and Mio are cousins. Kyoka comes in there looking for a way to stop Mio's nightmares. And he's like, she's having these nightmares because she's a Usaba, right? And Arata just like, you right, but you wrong all at once. It's not because she's a Usaba. It's because we're supernatural abilities, because Mio has the gift. And Mio's just like, I don't have powers though. I don't really have spirit sight. So how can I have powers? And he's like, yeah, you don't have to have that specific power. Okay. You just have a different one. And I can say with full confidence that you have the gift and you have your powers intact, actually. And he confirms that with their grandfather. We get introduced to Yoshiro Usaba. Yoshiro, he comes down to like look at Mio. He's like, you look and you act like your mom. I'm so glad to see you. And the Usabas and the Kudos, they head up inside. Apparently the Usaba household is supposed to calm down Mio's anxiety, and the barriers heal Usabas. So they can help Mio with her nightmares, but like on one condition. If Kudo gives up all his rights to Mio to the Usabas. Kudo is like real confused. He's like, okay, why did y'all wait till now to try to get her? And Usaba's just like, well, how are we supposed to know that her powers were going to come in late? Okay, but now that we know her powers are here, you don't need to take care of her no more. We learned that like Mio is an anomaly. She has this thing called dream sight, which gives her the ability to intervene in the dreams of others. She will probably constantly have these nightmares due to her ability, but the Usabas are able to manage it and keep it in check. Kudo is still mad. He's like, you're not going to separate me and my fiance from each other. And the Usabas and Kyoka is like going back and forth. Like, we need Mio. You're not going to take my fiance. But like, we got to help get her powers. I'm like, we can find a way. And like, Mio's trying to get a word in, but ain't nobody listening to her. And Arata, he was just like, you think you good at protecting her? Doing an incident with the Saimoris, Mio got drugged, kidnapped, and badly injured. Plus, she's suffering for nightmares, and you suck at protecting things. I'm like, dear God, give that man a break. He burnt down a whole estate to get his fiance back. How was he supposed to know that his fiance was going to get kidnapped mid-work shift? I don't think anybody is prepared for that. Arata gets on his ass some more. He's like, you're so focused on this right now. You don't know what's going on in the grave. And Mio feels like all this that's happening right now is her fault. And she feels bad for making her fiance worry like this. And to like just cut the chit chat between them, Arata just asks Mio like, hey, what do you want to do? Because Mio and Kudo had the past argument and it got real heated. She's like, I don't really care where I go. She wants to stick by her man, but like she really mad and she don't know how to like express her emotions. Yeah, she's like, I don't care. Okay, y'all can do whatever. So Because Mio says this, Arata offers a duel, and Kyoka, he accepts the duel so he can be a provider, a protector to Mio. Whoever wins the duel, they get Mio and they get to be Mio's protector. If Kyoka wins, Arata will teach her how to control Mio's abilities. Mio is like, can y'all chill out? I really don't want to duel right now. And everybody's like, shut up, Mio. This is not about you. It's about us having this duel. Kyoka's like, bet, I'll duel you or whatever. If Arata wins, she gets to stay with the Usabas. So the duel has started, and it's a sword and gun fight. It's pretty cool, not gonna lie. Arata uses like a shadow clone jutsu and then shoots him. Kyoka comes back stronger and is now faster than a bullet. Kyoka lunges into him with a sword. Arata dodges. Kyoka comes in another blow, but it's another shadow clone. Arata shoots him and Kyoka deflects it with the sword. And So Kyoka deflects the bullet with the sword, and Kyoka is like, those shadow clones are not going to work on me like that. And Arata starts to explain how the Usabas have something better than most supernatural abilities. And that ability is shadow clone jutsu. Like, he was just like, I'm going to go against the avatar with shadow clone jutsu. Yeah, this is going to work. Kudo, he strikes lightning down on all like the shadow clone jutsu. Shadow clone jutsu. All the shadow clones, my bad. I sounded so dumb saying that. He strikes lightning down on all shadow clones. Apparently, the Usabas are the Emperor's last line of defense. If somebody goes crazy with their power, that's why Arata is like going so hard about this duel in the first place. And we see, because they're the Emperor's last line of defense, that's why the Usabas always remain hidden. Arata tries to shoot Kyoka, but he slices the bullet in half. See that right there? That right there, you had to stop the duel. I would have gone feral. You sliced a bullet for me? I guess we're having a child now. I'm already with child. You didn't have to do anything. Divine revelation. So Kyoka just like, that's all you got, because, he just sliced the bullet. He's like, oh, you weak, for real. And he's like, I'm going to end this. And Arata's like, okay, bet. I'm going to end this here today, too. Arata's just like, another Usaba will not be taken away from me. So he uses shadow clone jutsu again. And Kudo is like, okay, I'm going to burn all of them at once because you are really bothering me at this point. And Mio begs Kudo, like, stop the duel. And her granddad like, sit your ass down before you get burned. Oh my gosh, she ignores the man anyways. Kyoka is about to give the final blow, but Mio stopped him. The Mio that he thought was Mio ended up being a shadow clone. And Arata uses this chance to shoot the sword out of Kyoka's hand. Yes. So, yeah, the duel is over, and Mio is just like, wow, my man really lost like that. So Mio goes to run to Kudo, and Arata puts like a little barrier over him that transport him right back to the car. Cut back to the anti-grotesquerie unit. Kudo's men is trying to figure out why these grotesqueries are attacking weirdly. They are starting to hunt in packs when they normally hunt individually. We cut back to Kudo getting healed by his sister, and Hasuki is on his ass like, so you lost. You got yourself hurt, and now you over here want to come back home with your tail in between your legs? Boy. Kyoka is like, I lost the duel. I can't even get Mio back. And his sister knocks some sense into him like, who said you can't get your woman back? Okay, you should be going up there right now, trying to get your woman back. But then Kudo gets called in for work. And then Hasuki's like, see, this is what I'm talking about. This is why we're in the predicament that we're in right now. You keep focusing on work. Kyoka is like, I'm going to get Mio, but there's like bigger problems I have to fix at this moment. It's like, so one problem at a time, essentially. Kudo meets up with Takahito, and he feels a change in the air. Takahito's just like, look, some mess is about to go down. I wanted to tell you ahead of time. We cut to the Emperor, and he knows anyone that threatens the royals will be gone forever. And right now, the Kudos and the Usabas are threatening the royals in a sense. If the anti-grotesquerie unit fails to stop this upcoming threat of all the grotesquerie, then the capital will fall. People's lives will be endangered. Now that the Usabas have Mio back, Arata has one goal to be assigned, his Usaba family duty. Mio is sitting to herself, so sad, and Arata comes in a room where Mio is to see how she is. She asks Arata, like, hey, you know, is Kudo safe? Is he all good? And he's like, look, I already placed him bodyguard. Your man is fine. Arata tells Mio, like, he got back home and continued to work like nothing happened. So Mio is like really sad about this. We then get more of an explanation about Mio's power. Because her mother could use telepathy, there would be a chance that her child would be a dream maiden. A dream maiden is somebody with the gift of dream sight. The maiden of dream sight is able to enter the dreams of any person they choose to manipulate them. They can even brainwash them. So Mio would be even more powerful than her own fiance. And Mio was wondering, like, hey, why didn't this gift come in sooner? And Yoshiro explained that someone sealed her abilities away. Her mom did it, and we're gonna get a reason why she did it. And it all happened before Mio was born. So in the next episode, it's more like a backstory episode. You'd be like, why is Mio's abilities all sealed up? And we get more backstory about Mio's mother. It all started a few years before Mio was born. The Tsurugi trading had failed with negotiations from a big business partner. The company was going in debt, and because it was the family's main income, the situation was serious. The Saimoris had a family marriage arrangement with the Usabas, but Yoshida's like, I'm not gonna just pawn off my daughter like that. So he like denied the marriage arrangements. To protect the family, Sumi went ahead and accepted the marriage arrangement so her family would not go into debt. Yoshiro was like, he was really pissed about this. He's like, you're not supposed to marry somebody that's out of Usaba's blood. Like, what about our bloodline? Da 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 da. And Sumi just like, I don't care about our bloodline right now. I care about us not being dead broke right now. So I have to do what I have to do. You could be angry at me. You could be mad at me. I understand. I can't do this right now. I have to do what's best for the family. Sumi married into the Saimoris, and after the marriage agreement was official, all ties from the Usaba families were cut off. On the day of the wedding, Sumi and Yoshiro became extremely estranged, and Yoshiro then shows Mio the cherry blossom tree. Her powers gets activated when she touches a cherry blossom tree. We cut back to the past and see Sumi's mom with the Saimoris. Everyone is criticizing her for being reserved. One of the elders tells Shinichi like that this isn't a political marriage, and Mio's mom is now giving birth to Mio. Mio is born into this world, and Mio's mom can sense her powers when she was able to hold Mio in her hands. Like, oh crap, she has dream sight. I cannot tell anybody that she has this. So Sumi kept it from the Saimoris so they would not take advantage of her powers. But the Saimoris needed to know, like, now if Mio was gifted. And if Mio was not gifted and she wasn't producing any powers anytime soon, you know, the Saimoris are going to get demoted. It's either Mio gets some powers or we just make another baby with a different woman. And at that time, Sumi was very sick, so she only had such little time after she gave birth to Mio. Sumi was getting worse. She like start coughing up blood and everything. Sumi know that she will be exploited by her daughter's powers. So she's like, okay, so my daughter won't get exploited or anything like that. Let me seal them away. She sealed Mio's power in her favorite cherry blossom tree. That's why earlier on in the series when Mio touched the tree and it turned to ash, it did what it needed to do. It sealed the powers, and after it got unsealed, it did its purpose. Mio finally finds everything that happens after she touches the tree, and Mio also gets like the full extent of her powers after that. We cut back to those dudes chanting around the fire, and the anti-grotesquerie unit take care of the grotesqueries, and Kyoka, he pulling up like he Percy Jackson on them grotesqueries. Let me tell you, lightning strike, lightning strike, lightning strike, boom, boom, boom. It's the next day at the Usabas, and Mio is waking up. Arata pulls up with the maid to check up on Mio. This is the first time Mio has been able to go to sleep, and Arata asks if she can wear traditional Usaba wear. It's been passed down for generations, and only dream sight users can wear them. Mio is glad that she's recovered, but right now she feels like she's in a gilded cage. She's like, yeah, I'm glad. Like, I'm better. I'm not having nightmares. I'm finally healed. But like, you stopped me from seeing my man. That's really pissing me off right now. Mio feels like everything that's happening right now, like, it's all her fault, and like that's why she can't see her man and whatnot. Low key, Mio, it is kind of your fault. If you just said I want to stick by my man at that table, then you wouldn't be here in the first place. But at the same time, you wouldn't be able to heal from your nightmares. So I can't really get mad at you too much. Mio's at the breakfast table with the Usabas. She's not eating. Arata is trying to make her more comfortable, but she wants to be with her man. She wants her kimono with the cherry blossoms. She's like, my man got me that. I want that specifically, and it means something very close to me. Arata says like he can't do that. And Mio's just like, well, I want to talk to him so I can tell him sorry and I apologize, you know, how I'm at fault for everything. But she's like ashamed to see him at the moment, but she wants to like still give him an apology. Arata doesn't really want to hear any of that. He's like, well, it's not really your choice or your option because I'm not really giving you the option to leave, so you can stop asking. Arata's like, we waited on you for years and you're not just going to go. So let me protect you. Mind you, he says it's also creepy. Mio doesn't understand why it's so deep for Arata in the first place and why he just can't let her go. And Arata's just like, oh, it's my duty. I have to do what I need to do for the Usabas. And Mio's like, I don't care about that. Right now, I need to see my man and apologize to him. And Arata's like, we got rules to abide by, Mio, okay? You can only marry in the family. Ew. You are not allowed to make any close friends or even take on a lover. The Usaba duty is to handle any gift you just step out of line. The Usabas are like England in this sense, you know, you marry your first cousin to keep the bloodline clean. I never got that. And Arata, and according to Arata, they're first cousins. They're not even like distant cousins. Like that is her first cousin. I'm like, ew, Arata, that's gross. You have inbred children. Arata has followed every rule and has never been called in for a threat. So he's like kind of like even thinking to himself, like, why am I following these rules if like no danger ever comes to us? So they like sit there like in silence for a little bit. Arata is also to take the role of husband to the Dream Maiden. Ew. Why are you so casually agreeing to marry your cousin? I don't think it should be that casual. Arata is now begging Mio to like fulfill his purpose as the husband of the Dream Maiden. And Arata was expecting for him and Mio to be similar, but he realized they're like kind of both empty shells that had no purpose. People who wanted to be more in life, but they never really got the opportunity to do stuff. We cut to Mr. Kudo killing off more grotesqueries. Kyoka tells Gudo to go back to the initial formation because like all the grotesqueries are like really coming at them. Gudo sees them coming his way and he tries to hit them and he misses. Gudo tries to hit them again, but Kyoka pushes him out the way and he takes the hit and passes out. So we cut back to the Usabas. Yoshiro is asking how Mio is doing. And Mio asks like if there's any way I can see my man one more time. And he's like, not really. So at this point, Mio is begging, like, I gotta see my man. Like, I need to see my man. The old man was just like, you know, you remind me of your mama, you know, always stubborn like this. And at this point, she's like, oh man, let me see my fiance. He does apologize for pushing her mom away, which led to Mio having the lifestyle that she had as a kid. Her grandfather reminds you, like, you know, we are family, and if anything happens to you, we are here to support. And Yoshi wants Mio to rely on him, but she just wants to see her man. Mio's like, I never really had a family to rely on, so I really don't know how to like go about that to rely on you in the first place. Mio starts to like vent about like how she's feeling and how she can't do anything right. And her grandfather is glad that Mio is telling him how like she feels about everything instead of like hiding it. So Yoshi's like, hey, you know, can I speak to you as your grandfather real quick? And Mio's just like, okay, bet. And he said, what being in the family means is sharing things we can't handle on our own. He's like, you're not putting all your problems on one person, but you're still like venting and talking to people and having a support system. So don't think that you have to handle the brunt of the world by yourself. That's why family is here. He said, like, you can piss off your family. You can even disappoint them, but they still family at the end of the day. Mio asks Yoshiro, even when her mom left, did he feel the same? And Yoshiro was like, oh, I was furious, but then I took it too far all at once. Mio asks like, hey, did you ever like hate my mom? And he's like, I would never hate my daughter. I was too caught up in protecting her. And I thought I need to do what I should, but I lost my daughter in the process of that. I never got to see her again. But it is a blessing that I'm able to see my granddaughter and I'm able to connect with you. I do regret what I did with the past, and I was being very overprotective of my daughter, but it did give me the opportunity to come see my granddaughter instead. And, you know, it's a blessing every time. And I miss your mother every day. And I do regret the way I spoke to her before she left. Mio was very surprised by this, like, after all these years, like, how can he, like, still have, like, love in his heart for Mio? Yoshi was just like, look, the only reason the Usopp survived in the first place is because of your mama, so I'm like in great debt to her. Yoshi was like, you know, I really wish I met you sooner and I knew where you were. Mio's glad that, you know, somebody can relate to her and she has somebody to talk to. Like I was saying early before, the cherry blossom trees are connected to Sumi Usopp, and she would like seal Mio's ability away in like certain trees. So the trees back inside Mori, she sealed her powers away in there. And then the tree at the Usoppas also sealed her powers there. Once Mio was able to touch it, she was able to like fully regain like all of her powers. Sumi wanted Mio to get her powers by choice. She didn't want to feel like she was like some political pawn. She would be like, if my kid wants to have her powers, I want her to choose when she wants to have her powers, not somebody tell her what to do. Mio accepts her powers and she feels like more like herself and one with her mother. Mio is glad that she saw her mom one last time, and now that she has all her powers, like she's ready to like, you know, go out in the world. Arata received a message from the military that Mr. Kudo got defeated in battle. Mio got the info that he took a fatal hit from one of the grotesqueries. Mio was surprised by this and ran away, and Arata tries to stop her, and she like, boy, move. I need to see my man. It's like, she's like, I need to see my man. I don't want to be kept away from my man. Where is he? And Arata's like, oh, I'm not allowing you to go. She like, bet, I didn't ask you if I could go. Arata's like, you're being kept here for a reason because somebody has a special interest with you staying. Granddaddy tried to like make him shut up. And Arata's like, you know, I'm not gonna lie to this girl no more. Arata tells her about the deal with the Emperor, and the Emperor lent his hand in reclaiming the user with Dream Sight. So in exchange, she can't contact anyone with supernatural abilities. It's the Emperor's order to hide the user with Dream Sight. Arata's like, I don't know why he wants you so bad, but if I defy him, it's gonna be on my ass. And then Mio's like, well, he's gonna get on your ass then, not mine. And Mio's just like, what did I even do to agree to this? Yoshiro, he spanks Arata on the butt. He just like, child, if you don't let that girl leave and see her man, it's not that deep. We'll deal with the Emperor later, but she needs to see her man now. Arata offers to travel with Mio so she can be safe on her way there. Yoshiro, he's not really mad about it. He's like, I understand, like, go see your man. Like, he's in trouble right now. You do what, like, you need to do what you need to do, and you have the powers to do it. Like, so I fully support you. Yoshiro even like gives Mio back her like cherry blossom kimono, and I really think that was like sweet of him. So Mio is now heading to her man with Arata, and not gonna lie, Mr. Kudo is in very critical condition right now. Mio makes it to see Kyoka, and he is still alive. Hazuki is glad that Mio was able to see him again. And she's like, and Mio's like, you know, I'm not gonna give up on my man. Arata's like, you know, there's a way to save your man. With your Dream Sight ability. He said it might work and there's no harm in trying. And Mio's like, bet, let's get to it. Like, how do I like activate it? So Mio has to like hold Kudo's hand, and she has to go like to this like sleeping state. So we are now in Mr. Kudo's mind right now, and the grotesqueries are crowding him. At the moment, he just thinks he died and went to hell. Honestly, I would think the same thing. There's random demons attacking me. Of course, I'm thinking I'm hell. Mio is getting prepared to enter Kyoka's dream. The goal is to make sure she finds Kyoka's soul. That's the whole point. Everyone tells her to be safe. She can do this, you know, do good in her. Mio starts the process, and Mio is now in Dream Sight, and she like enters like this black hole thing that takes her to the destination. Mio lands in the Saimori estate, and Kyoka is currently fighting for his life from these grotesqueries. Kyoka feels like he's not getting anywhere. Every time he kills one pops up. Kyoka realized he is not gonna die in here today, okay? I'm gonna fight for my woman, okay? I haven't seen her and I'm gonna get her back, okay? So I gotta keep fighting until I see her again. Mr. Kudo, he hears Mio's voice. So he's like, he put two and two together that like she was able to get in here. We cut back to Mio in the Saimori house in Kudo's dream. Mio is being followed around by some little girl, and the little girl is a smaller Mio that's taunting her. Mio's trying to help her man right now, but she got to squash whatever creepy stuff is going on in her brain. So Mio runs after her like inner child and gets to this room, and the room starts to flood. A door emerges from the ground, and the door reminds her of like the shed where she was abused at. She opens the door to see herself before she met Mr. Kudo. We cut back to Kyoka fighting First Life some more, and one of these grotesqueries slashes Kyoka's braid that Mio gifted him. They're just simply beating this man ass. Okay, he is fighting with an inch of his life, for an inch of his life, with an inch of his life, on an inch of his life, something of that. He ain't giving up his fight though. He gonna see his woman at the end of the day. So Kudo started feeling bad about like Mio. He's like, I don't need to die today. I gotta apologize to my woman first. So he started feeling real guilty when he was fighting and everything. We cut back to Mio. She is talking to Alter Mio, that we're gonna say. Alter Mio is a version of herself who would talk to herself negatively constantly. Alter Mio tells Mio that she doesn't deserve happiness or a future, and you're never gonna see your man. And you don't even treat your man right, your man is gonna die, and everyone that messes with you ends up having a doomed life of unhappiness. Mio's like, maybe you was right once upon a time, but I'm different now because of my ability. Like, I'm in a positive environment now, and like I have like some self-confidence in myself, and I think I should stay with my man. Alter Mio's like, don't lie to yourself, girl. It would be easier if you were alone. And Mio's like, no, I'm better than that. And Alter Mio was like, your life was hell after your mom died. The only way I could protect myself if I was able to dull my heart. That was the only way we could handle being alive. So Mio tells Alter Mio, like, I did think like that, but I don't think like that anymore. And Alter Mio was like, cut it. You're going to give up anyway. That's your go-to. It's easier. And Mio's like, well, you don't know nothing. Alter Mio was like, all this fighting shit is like really tiring, and your man is gonna like suffer in the end because of you. And Mio's like, yeah, that's what I'm here to apologize. My man stuck by me, and I gotta stick by him. Mio goes to comfort Alter Mio, and she chooses to believe in herself, to believe in her man. And this helps heal her. She is now reborn into this better Mio, a healed Mio. Alter Mio now wants to help original Mio find Kudo. And Mio is now in like this prettiest kimono ever. I love the growth. I love how Mio just talked her way through her alternate version of herself that would constantly indulge in this negative self-talk, and she was able to heal and believe in herself and to believe in her relationship. The dreamscape gives Mio Kyoka's hair tie, and it's a clue to show like how close that he is to her. So we cut back, and he still fighting for his life. Ain't no change. Mio comes from the sky to help her man. She looks stunning, by the way. Mio saves her man with like a spirit barrier, and Mio's like, sorry for the wait, babe. I'm here to save you. Kudo don't even care that he's hurt right now. He just like, damn, the hoes are here. I can't act like I'm hurt. So he's glad that like his woman is back, and we cut back to like the chanting men around the fire, and we find out that they work for the emperor. Their job with chanting at the fire was to destroy Kudo, because with them chanting at the fire, they were able to control the grotesqueries that were going on in Kudo's mind. Mio is stopping them from hurting Kudo in the first place, and the emperor was pissed. He was like, who the hell is destroying my plans to destroy the Kudos? It's like, oh, it's Mio. She's in there. And the Kudos are now a threat to the emperor, and he wants to eliminate the dream site user now. He's like, if I can't control it, I gotta eliminate it completely. So he tries to kill Mio himself. He gets all the grotesqueries, and he like puts it into like one big monster. Mio asks to hold Kudo's hand and just to trust her, and Kyoka's like, bet I trust you. She said, we're gonna get home together, I promise you. So the emperor was too turned on trying to destroy them that his ass ended up getting burnt alive by Mio when she deflected back. So, the emperor is no more. He is burnt like the chicken at the bottom of a KFC bucket. Hit that man with that little spirit bomb, and he is burnt alive. Mio has now defeated all the grotesqueries, and Kudo's like, damn, girl, I'm supposed to be protecting you, but I appreciate it. How are you, baby? Kudo expresses like how proud of Mio he is. He's like, wow, I didn't even know you could do that, but I'm so proud of you. Mio gives her man the braid back. She said like the braid is the reason like she was able to find him in the first place. Kudo's just like, I thought I was gonna lose you forever, but I'm glad you're here. Mio offers to put the braid back on him. She wants to talk about what happened at the Usuba house, and she told him like, hey, I was lying about saying I didn't care where I was gonna go. I wanted to be with my man. I was just frustrated. I didn't know how to articulate my feelings. And then Kudo was just like, I'm so sorry for not articulating my feelings better to you. I shouldn't have raised my voice at you. I know how you are about people raising their voice at you, and I should have communicated a lot better. They make up, they're all good. It's a very sweet moment. They both apologize to each other, and Mio tells Kudo that like, hey, I'm gonna be by your side like forever. She's like, please tell me I can just be with you forever if I can. And he's like, baby, that was always the plan. Kudo is now alert in the real world. He hears everybody outside waiting for them to wake up. They get ready to wake up to see their loved ones, and they both wake up and they're fine. Everybody's so excited. Kudo is really excited. He's like, Commander, you're not dead. Hazuki and Yuri, they're all like really excited. Like everybody's excited, like they're okay. After like Mio defeats everything, Arata take his leave, but Mio stops him before he goes, and he's like, I don't gotta protect you no more, so I don't really gotta stay. And Mio's like, I don't know how to say thank you for like bringing me over here. And he's like, Shawty, chill. I did what was right. So Mio was made sure she was upfront with Arata. She's like, I can't go back to the Usuba house, okay? My home was with my man. I appreciate you for bringing me there, but I just didn't like being there, Arata's like, hey, you don't gotta apologize. You're like still family at the end, okay? Kudo sees Arata. He's already seething. He's like, what the hell are you doing here? And Arata's just like, just about to leave. But before he leaves, Kudo just like, I'm gonna have to slide you one more time. We gotta duel again. Arata's like, bet. We're gonna duel again. I'll promise you that. So Takahito, the Emperor's sons, find out what happened last night because he found out his dad died from like a third-degree burn. The Emperor lost his divine revelation, and he was so mad he lost it. He put countless lives at risk trying to kill the maiden of the dream site. Takahito vows to make sure every debt is repaid to the people who were harmed during the grave incident, and the Kudos finally make it home. Everything is chill with them. Mio doesn't have nightmares anymore, and she's connecting with her man more. She talks to him more, and they have a lot more quality time with each other, and Mio finally feels happy and at peace. Okay, guys, it's the last episode. Yay! I've been filming for 3 hours, guys. Okay, guys, let's get this going. So we open up with Mio in her formal dress, and Mio is very nervous about the event because she does not want to look awkward. Hazuki is like, girl, you're good. You have all that etiquette class. You look the good. You got a beat face. Girl, don't worry about what them people are saying outside, okay? Mio and Kyoka, they meet up at like the front of the event, I think, because like it's like this little stair thing. And Mio asks like, hey, what do you think of the dress? And he's like, baby, you look beautiful. And then Mio's like, you look quite handsome. And he's like, girl, don't stop something you can't finish. Oh my God, I am noticing something like that in the shoujo pattern. Whenever like somebody girl called him handsome, what you think about me, baby? I think you're quite handsome. Oh, you do? We about to make a junior right now. Ah! Okay, I'm sorry. Last episode. I'm sorry. Let me get through it. Yeah, the Kudos pull up to the event, and everybody's already gossiping about Mio. Just like, oh, she was part of Saimori's. Da, 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 da. Oh, I can't believe she showed her face here. I'm just like, oh my God, y'all are just talking so much shit. But I'm not going to come on them too much because, like, there was no phones then. So the only thing people could do for entertainment was talk shit. So Mio, like, feels really uncomfortable. She's like, everybody in the room was gossiping about me, and I can just, like, feel it. And she feels like everybody is mad at her. And Kyoka's like, don't worry about them. They're going to talk shit whenever they're going to talk shit. Mio and Kyoka, they bump into Hazuki, and Hazuki tell, like, Mio is still nervous. She's like, girl, if you don't calm down, you been that girl, and you got the tools to be that girl. So you need to have the confidence of that girl. And Mio was just like, you right, I'm gonna kill it and everything is gonna be all good. When Mio was getting ready earlier on the episode, there's like this little boy that was like scolding her. And I was so confused. I'm like, who is this little boy scolding Mio? And he's still scolding her like, I'm like, oh, little child, what is with all the stink attitude? We learned that the little boy that was like giving like Mio this little stank face was Hazuki's kid, which means that's Mio's nephew. His name is Asahi. Hazuki only sees her kid once a month because, as you know from earlier in the video, that she got divorced due to like some family squabble. Mio says it's a pleasure to meet Asahi, and Asahi just like, you bow weird. And she's like, oh. He's like, you supposed to bow like this and you greet like this. My mother teaches you etiquette class for a reason. And Hazuki just like, Asahi, I am so sorry. Like, he does not go to a lot of events like that. Who told you I don't go to a lot of events like this? You can't let kids lie over nothing. You tell a kid to lie and be like, I don't know why I'm lying. I'm telling you the honest truth about what's going on. Shut up. I'm trying to make sure you don't embarrass me. Goto is like getting lit off some rice wine. I love some Goto because every time he had dinner, he gonna make sure that sake and that rice wine is in his hand. He gonna have a time. And Goto is over here like, he's talking to Kazushi. He's like, why is Mr. Kudo so nice to everybody now? Okay, he was mean as hell. Then Mio came in the picture and he want to be all nice. And how was she just like, I'm gonna let you drink your liquor and I'm gonna drink mine. Mio, when she's like walking with Kyoka, she's like feels very insecure after like what Asahi has said to her. Kyoka is like, don't let that little child get to you. Okay, he is a child at the end of the day. So Mio tries to like wave at her nephew still, but like he's still being a little stuck up child. So Mio is now like practicing her etiquette skills in public. Everything is going well. She's quite popular. Kyoka asks if he can pull Mio to the side so she can meet somebody. Takahito wants to meet Mio so he can give her the backstory about everything that was going on within like her family and also give his apologies. And long story short, the emperor made sure the Usopp's can marry outside of family, and because of that, they were not able to marry richer families that could help them in debt. So the Sudisuke trading went under. The emperor saw that the Saimoris were going in debt and they weren't really producing like a very strong supernatural ability kid. So he's like, okay, let's get the Saimoris and the Usoppas married. The emperor made sure that Sumi didn't have any contact with the Usoppas so she wouldn't have a means to going back home. So after Sumi passed, that's when Mio had to take like the brunt of the Saimori's abuse. But then after Mio got married off to the Kudos, he was like, okay, that ain't gonna slide, because if she has a baby with Kudo with the Dream Maiden power, then they're gonna have a really super powerful baby. I need a way to control that. The emperor was trying to find any way for like none of the families can like one up him in the first place. So he tries to like separate Mio and Kyoka. Takahito explains all that to him. He's like, I apologize for like my father's actions, because if my father didn't like interrupt like your family's life, your life wouldn't have been terrible like this. And he was like, how the hell you messed up 3 generations of people? He messed up the grandfather, the mom, and Mio, and like all the Saimoris and the Tatsuishis. It was just like a whole lot of going on because of the emperor being afraid that he would be losing power. Mio is like, she appreciates the apology, but she's like, you know what? I don't even regret everything that happened to me in my life, because I was able to meet my husband at the end. So I'm grateful for that, but I'm also more grateful that you took time out your day to apologize. So Takahito, he's like very glad that he got to talk to Mio. He's like, I'll see you later. Kudo is even more happier, because that was like the first time Mio ever like, she made direct eye contact. She was confident when she spoke. She didn't stutter. She didn't have her head down. She didn't feel like she couldn't speak to anybody. Just to see that growth from episode 1 to episode 13 is like a very beautiful thing to see with Mio. We come back to the ballroom and Asahi is looking for his mom, but he bumps into Mio instead. Asahi tries to run away, but he bumps into somebody else's dress and he spills all that juice on Mio. After Asahi spills like the juice on Mio, Hazuki like cleans him up and everything. Hazuki like scolds Asahi. It's like, why are you over here being so mean? You've been in a cranky mood all night. So Hazuki was just like, just wait till like your father comes here. And we find out, we find out that Masahi, Kudo's like second in command, is also Hazuki's ex-husband and baby daddy. So Masahi pull up, he just like, what's up, son? What's wrong with you? What's going on? And Asahi, he explains that like, oh, I don't like Mio because she is taking all the time away from mom, like away from me, and Mio thinks she's so special and whatnot. And Hazuki's just like, oh, that's why he's mad. He's just jealous of Mio. So Hazuki explains that, you know, Mio is his auntie, and there's a level of respect that he got to give her and everything. And Hazuki still really loves her son. Of course, she will always love her son. But Asahi feels like neglected from his mom because like she was like so focused on her etiquette class. Hazuki got everything like cleared up to Asahi. Asahi acts like, hey, out of like both me and Mio, like, who do you love the most? Hazuki rebuttal. He's like, okay, I'm gonna ask you a question now. Out of both me and your father, who do you love the most? And Asahi was just like, oh, I don't know. Hazuki was just like, look, I love you with all my heart because you are my son. But I also have enough love in my heart for your auntie because Mio is family, okay? And you have to respect her as a family. I understand your emotions, but it doesn't mean I can't love two people at once, son. Mio starts to break down from tears because at this moment in time, Mio feels like she can call Hazuki her sister, which again, you know, I'm loving the hurdles that Mio is going through in this episode, that she finally got her self-confidence, that she felt comfortable enough to call Hazuki her sister, that she was able to get a better relationship with her nephew. It's really good. I love it. Asahi apologizes for ruining Mio's dress and everything. Hazuki is glad Asahi apologized. And after that, we get like a montage of all the characters and like what they're doing in life. And we get like a whole montage about family. And then at the end, it's like a little small segment where like Arata asks for to be Mio's bodyguard, and Kudo says no, of course. He just like, no, that's not gonna be cool. And Hazuki like, I think that would be cool. But Kudo heads on to work, and before Kudo goes to work, Mio just like, okay, let me fix your hair tie before you go to work. And after that, you think they about to have their first kiss, and they don't. Yeah, they don't kiss whatsoever. Only thing Kudo does is kiss that girl on the forehead. So I don't know if I'm going to see an on-screen kiss in the second season or what. But that is the last of my happy marriage in the first season. But before we go, we're going to make sure I take you to Killer Bee's Corner. Take it away, B. Hello, beautiful people. Welcome to Killer Bee's Corner. This is my new segment where I give you my final thoughts of the show. And I wanted to talk about the power of negative self-talk. Now, we have all heard the quote that words make people. In my happy marriage, Mio comes from an emotionally, verbally, and physically abusive family. The Samoris would constantly beat, berate, and belittle Mio. Mio and I really fought back against Samoris because it's very typical among victims of abuse to not be able to stand up to their abuser. Fighting back only led to dire consequences. Mio was constantly told she was worthless and she shouldn't even be born, that she don't deserve to be alive. Kind of felt like Mio and her mom ruined her marriage, even though it doesn't really make sense. Sumi was the first wife and Kanako came soon after, but ever since Mio was born, she's calling her mom all type of homewrecker. You ruined my marriage. I don't understand why you're here. And it's just really taking this anger from that she is like directed at Shinichi to Mio. Kaya follows suit of her mother because Kaya simply didn't know better. She thought like, okay, this is a way to get my mother's attention and love by beating, berating, and belittling my sister. So most of Kaya's life, she didn't really feel like there was a wrong to what she was doing. She felt like, okay, I'm doing something that makes my mother proud, and I'm doing something that is a right in the world because Mio deserves it because she's nothing. Shinichi, her father had emotionally abandoned his kid because she didn't have the gift. He was like, oh, you don't have the gift, so you're not really any use of me. You're not going to really help the family like that. You're giftless and you're useless to me. So he didn't really acknowledge Mio as his daughter most of the time, but only when it came to like formal agreements, it was just like, oh yeah, that's my daughter or whatever. But like, I don't really mess with her. She's a servant for real. Mio felt like she was undeserving of love and happiness. She didn't think she had the right to dream, to think big, which is, again, very common for victims of this type of abuse. She felt like every little mishap she did was the end of the world. Every slip would be another disgrace to the Saimoris. Even when the Saimoris gave her to the Kudo, she was slightly surprised. She was like, they could at least give me this one thing. Once Mio is placed with Mr. Kudo, she then finds out he's not as bad as people say he is. Mio found it off because Kudo didn't belittle or demean her. He didn't make her do embarrassing acts just because he could. He never hit her if they disagreed. Mio was just like, okay, this is new, because she's never been in an environment where she wasn't abused. She had an emotionally neglectful father. She had emotionally, verbally, and physically abusive stepmother. She had emotionally, verbally, and physically abusive sister. So when she is in this new area where Mr. Kudo is actually treating her like a person, it's like a shock for her. Mio felt like she deserved to be constantly abused. Even when Kyoka was treating her like a person, even things like necessities and food, she felt like it was a burden. She felt like it was a burden just for her to get new clothes, even though she was sewing up her old raggedy clothes constantly, because at the Saimori house, she was not able to ask for a new kimono, because then it would be saying that you're ungrateful. What's wrong with the kimono that you have? Even though the kimono would be like 2-3 years old, they just didn't think that Mio deserved that. They didn't think Mio deserved to have nice things or feel nice. But when she was with Mr. Kudo, it was the first time in forever where people asked her, what do you want to do? How do you want to dress? What do you like to do? So Mio was just like, okay, this is new. Mio felt so guilty and undeserving all the time. She didn't even think she could eat with her own fiance. She thought that would be too much. This makes sense because the Saimori never allowed her at the dinner table like she was a dog. Mio starved herself when she went to the Kudos because she thought she couldn't eat at the same time at her own fiance. Mio felt afraid to ask for a new kimono from Kudo because she thought it was going to end up with a negative response. But Kudo showered her with gifts, showered her with love, and she's just like, I don't deserve this like that. There must be something wrong. There has to be a catch to it. And again, like I was saying in the beginning, this is a pattern for victims of abuse. Kyoko was simply giving his fiance a gift. She felt bad about it. Mio's environment molded her to be this punching bag, and eventually Mio became her own punching bag. When Mio was feeling more confident in herself and felt like she could have a future, all of it was taken away from a visit from her sister. Her sister was like, you're undeserving. A man wouldn't want you. You're ugly. You're boring. You have no powers. I have your man, by the way. Okay, and you got kicked out the house. And just Mio hearing this from her sister immediately took her back to like step one. She was not this confident girl anymore. She's just like, maybe I have hope. She's just like, who am I kidding myself? Okay, I am lesser than Mr. Kudo. I don't even deserve to be in his house. I don't deserve to eat with him. He doesn't deserve to give me nice things. Kaya put this back in her brain that she is nothing. And because Kaya said she is nothing constantly, Mio felt that and she definitely believed it. After that, Mio thinks Kyoka hates her just for existing. She felt like if Kyoka found out she was giftless, that he was going to toss her to the curb and she was just going to be homeless. Since Mio felt like Kudo hated her, she felt like she couldn't communicate. Even though he would constantly reassure her and tell her that he was there to communicate, it was a process for Mio. Mio didn't want anyone to think that she depended on Kyoka because she was like raised on this like, oh, if you want something, you better do it yourself type mentality. Even though her sister got everything, it was like, you have to work hard, and if you don't work hard, you're a bum. She worked to a point of exhaustion so she wouldn't have to rely on her fiance, which I understand to a certain degree of like, doing your own thing or being independent. But the way Mio did it was in such a toxic manner where she wasn't getting any rest. She was exhausted during the day to a point where people thought Kudo was beating on her. That's how bad she was working herself to exhaustion. Mio's environment in the Saimori household controls every action to her decision. Mio has like more of a avoidant attachment style, I would say, where she does want to be loved, but she doesn't want to be betrayed, so she would retreat so nobody could hurt her. She would often not communicate her feelings, which would lead to big arguments that could be solved easily. You had to learn through like trial and error that it's okay to express yourself. It's okay to tell how you feel. It's okay to tell somebody that you have a problem with them. Mio even learned to stand up to her sister and Kaneko when she got kidnapped. Mio knew it was okay to be selfish and it was okay to want more. Kaneko, I am so sorry. I don't mean to like mispronounce that lady name. Kaneko and Kaya would beat and berate Mio into opting out of her marriage. Only because Kaya found out that Kudo was hot and wasn't beating on Mio. Like, I think that's a preposterous thing to be just like, wow, your man ain't beating on you and he fine? Look like I gotta take your man. Like, ma'am. Mio knew she deserved better and she wanted a better life with Kudo. So the first time in her life, she actually stood up to Kaneko and Kaya. She said, like, I'm gonna stick by my man. I'm gonna stay in this marriage. You can belittle me. You can beat me. You can berate me. It ain't nothing that I'm used to, okay? Today, I'm gonna stand up for myself because I do believe that I do deserve better. It was the first time in all her life that she does stand up to her abusers. You know, it does work out for Mio in the end. Kaya get her lick back. She ended up being a servant for this very abusive household, and her parents are in the countryside somewhere broke. So, you know, all ends well. All that ends well. Everything is good. Happy end and bone. Okay. Mio evolved into this person that's like more sure of herself, more confident. Kudo would reassure her, love on her, adore her, make her feel like she is special. Kudo brought Mio Hana, the only adult that was there in her life. And honestly, that was such a great attention to detail that Kudo did to Mio. He's just like, okay, I'm gonna bring back this adult who was the only one who stood up for her when she was being raised, when she was like about like 4 to 10 years old. And that was like the only person who actually looked out for Mio after her mom passed. And it was a beautiful thing that Kudo brought Hana to her. Mio had Yuri, one of her closest confidants and her biggest cheerleaders, okay? She had Hazuki as a sister and Hazuki always said like, oh, I was always inspired by Mio. I always liked how like whenever you wanted to do something, you got it done immediately. Mio had this very big support system in her life, so she was able to gain more confidence progressively. However, even after all these positive experiences, Mio had a conversation with her alter self so she could heal. Mio's new environment gives her the tool to beat this negativity that was festering in Mio. In episode 12, Mio had to face all her negative emotions. She had to be confident in herself. She had to tell her negative self, hey, you do deserve better, okay? We are in a better environment. We are not with the Saimoris anymore. And I do believe in myself that I am great and that I can be better. But her alter self was just like, you don't remember how they used to beat us, belittle us, how they used to tie us up, abandon us up in a room. Like, you can't say you don't remember all of that trauma, okay? If all that stuff happened to you, I don't think you're just really up in life. And Alter Mio had a point. What is the up in life if everything around me is terrible? I'm getting constantly abused by the people who say they love me, and not even when they say they love me. I'm not being acknowledged. And what Mio had to do, she's like, I'm going to acknowledge my negative emotion and my negative self-talk. I understand that me talking to myself in this manner is toxic. However, we acknowledge our trauma, but we will move on and forward from it. And we become out a more better and confident person. After this interaction, Mio felt like she deserved love, happiness, and a future. She was able to talk to Kudo better. Okay, she was able to communicate with him. She was even called Hazuki her sister. She was able to talk to Takahito confidently, which normally she would always talk with her head down, wait till somebody talked to her, and never really had the confidence to do most of the stuff that she wanted. But with her being able to heal her inner self and being able to tell herself like, okay, the negative talk that we constantly give ourselves is not very helpful and we need to move forward. The power of negative talk can really change how you look at the world. And I feel like a great show And my favorite shonen anime is Mob Psycho. So if nobody has watched Mob Psycho, in summary, Mob Psycho is about a show about a 13, 14-year-old boy named Mob, who's normally a background character, but he has psychic powers. In the show, it does talk about mental health, depression, anxiety, and the power of having a community around you. I think the show really reflects how negative emotion can really impact somebody and the impact of negative self-talk. So in season 2, episode 4 and 5 of Mob Psycho, Mob tries to exorcise this demon called, please be nice to me, Keiji Mogami, right? He was a demon that gave up hope in the world, watching his mother wither away while he tried to pay for her medical bills. Even though he took like every odd and extreme job, his mother still passed away. He couldn't pay for her medical bills or her equipment. Spending days witnessing the final moments of both living and dead had broken him. He killed himself so he could become a vengeful spirit. He wanted the world to know what true hatred was. He wanted to show the people who use others and toss them aside will finally know fear. Keiji Mogami ends up getting Mob trapped into this world where he has no psychic abilities. He wanted to put him in an environment where his negative feelings would thrive. The more stress you feel, the more weight on the shoulders from the world, the more energy you would feel when you put Mob in an environment where he has no psychic powers and no support system. Because in Mob Psycho, Mob has always had a support system since he was young. Whenever he was dealing with some type of mental problem with his anger, his fear, and his anxiety, he had people around him. He had his family, his friends, his after school clubs. He had a community. But Keiji Mogami put him in an environment where he has none of that. He doesn't have his psychic ability, so he cannot connect with other psychics. He doesn't have his community of people. He doesn't have his brother. He doesn't have his mom and dad. He doesn't even have his teacher. So he's put in this world where he is being constantly bullied, belittled, berated, and physically abused. And to a point, it gets to Mob and he goes psycho. A person can only be pushed so far, and Mob was pushed to a point to destroy all the peers that have wronged him, which is understandable. You put a person in an environment where they don't have a support system, an environment where they are all alone, that person would think negatively about the world and themselves. Just like how Mio couldn't pass that negative image of herself because of her environment. Mio did not have a support system when she was growing up. All she had was herself and the false promises of others that they were going to save her. It wasn't until Mio went to the kudos where she feels like she can get out of this negative mindset. Mob had to be reminded by Dimple, hey, there's people out there that's here for you and ready to support you, okay? Don't fall to this negative mindset and this negative self-talk where you are just stuck with anxiety, fear, and rage. Just like Mio had to be reminded that she has a support system so she could overcome her anxiety, fear, and anger, that's how Mio was able to evolve from herself. Just like how Mob would have to be reminded that, like, hey, you have a support system, there's people here with you. Mio also has to be reminded, hey, you have a support system and there's people here with you. Don't let that negative self-talk get to your head and affect your day-to-day life. That is all I have for Killa Bee's Corner today. I hope that you enjoyed that segment. I know it was a little short, but I hope you liked it. And also, I hope that the lighting is better in my wall. I was told that it was really orange last time, so I hope you can see it more clear. Guys, I'm gonna let B close out the video, so I will talk to y'all later. Thank you, B, for that lovely segment in Killa Bee's Corner. I hope that y'all enjoyed it today. But yeah, I hope y'all enjoyed the video. Enjoy this Shojo Saturday. Welcome everyone who are my new followers. I saw a little spike in my subscribers. I'm going to be at DreamCon this year, so if you see me, say hi, show your love, show your love, talk to me. I love talking about anything Shojo. I made a whole channel about it. Like, comment, subscribe, follow all my social media platforms. They're in the description. And remember, guys, be kind, be sexy, and watch some Shojo. Bye, y'all. Hope y'all have a lovely day and put y'all suggestions in the comments. Bye.
それはどこにあるだろうか何度でも何度でも求めている